Live on a Friday night at Utah Grizzlies hockey, as this evening's the first of a two-game weekend series between the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. Guy and I are sitting here high atop section 114. We'll talk with Guy later on in the pregame show as well as during the intermission and postgame report. The Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads for the sixth time this season. Remember, Idaho swept Utah in a three-game series on November 17th, 18th, and 20th. There's been quite a few roster moves we'll talk about later on in the pregame show. And the Grizzlies are on a two-game winning streak, looking to make it three as they won two games against the Trois-Rivières Lions last week. They got a 5-4 victory last Saturday as Zach Secco scored the game winner 13:34 into the third period. Dakota Raby had 2 points that night. Raby also had 2 points on Sunday afternoon in the rubber match as Utah won 4-0, and Trent Miner picked up his 8th shutout in a Grizzlies uniform. He's getting pretty close to the franchise record for shutouts in a career. Dakota Raby and Victor Bartley each had 1 goal and 1 assist, and Cameron Wright had 3 assists. To kind of summarize the roster movement over the last week, Zach Secos and Cameron Wright this week were sent to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. Secos went this past Tuesday to Colorado, and earlier today, Cameron Wright, who leads the Grizzlies in shots on goal, has been sent to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. We'll recap all the roster movement that happened over the last week since we last played on Sunday, and we'll also talk with Guy Krenz and get his thoughts on what's going to happen here this evening over at Idaho Central Arena. Trent Miner is going to be in net for the Grizzlies, and he'll be going up against Adam Scheel, who's on the Idaho side. It's going to be a lot of fun. Grizzlies and the Steelheads. And we're in business on a Friday night. You're listening to the Utah Grizzlies pregame show presented by America First Credit Union.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them, like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Carenza. Face off in about, I'd say, 18 or 19 minutes. 7:10 is going to be the face-off time over at Idaho Central Arena. Guy and I are sitting high atop section 114 here at Maverick Center. We got an adult men's league game going on right now. It looks like the away team has a 5-1 lead late in the first period. We'll keep you updated on some of the games going on here at Maverick Center tonight. As over at Idaho Central Arena, about a 5-hour drive from Maverick Center, the Grizzlies with a record of 8-8 and an even 500 points percentage take on an Idaho Steelheads team that's been about as red hot as anybody in the league. They've got a record of 13-2, 0-1 with 27 standings points and an .844 winning percentage. Grizzlies won 2 in a row, and they look to make it 3 in a row here tonight. Last weekend against the Trois-Rivières Lions, the Lions got a 6-4 victory in the series opener on November 25th, which was last Friday. Dakota Raby and Zach Secos each had 1 goal and 1 assist, and Andrew Nilsson added 2 power play assists. On Saturday night, the Grizzlies got a 5-4 victory. That's the game where Secos got the game winner with about 6.5 minutes left in regulation. Andrew Nelson was outstanding once again, having 1 goal and 1 assist. And Zach Secos and Dakota Raby, he was outstanding. He had 2 assists, as did Victor Bartley. And then the rubber match this past Sunday, which is the most recent game up until tonight. Trent Miner got a 30-save shutout, and Dakota Raby and Victor Bartley each had 1 goal and 1 assist. Cameron Wright had 3 assists. And it's kind of interesting when you think about the roster movement. Sometimes they say the ECHL stands for Ever-Changing Hockey League. And, well, this week the Grizzlies have made quite a few changes. Let's go back to last Saturday, November 26th, where Taran Pfizer was reassigned to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. Pfizer's played in a few games with Colorado, and he's done a good job with the Eagles. Grizzlies also acquired defenseman Aaron Tho in a trade with Norfolk. Tho was in the Grizzlies lineup on Sunday. He wore number 28, and he'll wear number 28 once again here tonight in his second game with the Grizzlies. And he looked pretty impressive. 6'2", 200 pounds, moves around pretty well and makes quick decisions with the puck. Earlier this week, Tho played on Sunday in the 4-0 victory. 2 days later, on November 29th, which was on Tuesday, Zach Sekos was called up to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. Sekos has 8 goals this season, which lead the Grizzlies. And at that same time, Andrew Nilsson was loaned to the AHL's San Diego Gulls. He played on Wednesday night for San Diego against Colorado. Nilsson had 2 penalty minutes, otherwise was zeros across the scoring sheet. Nilsson comes back to the Grizzlies, and he'll be in the Utah lineup here this evening. So Nilsson played in 1 game with San Diego, but he's back with Utah. Remember, he leads the league in power play assists and power play points, and he's the Grizzlies' leading scorer this season with 18 points on the year, 2 goals and 16 assists. The Grizzlies yesterday signed forward Vladislav Mikalchuk. This will be his 4th different team that he's played in. He'll wear number 25 tonight, making his Grizzlies debut. He played in 12 games earlier this season with Adirondack and had 1 goal. Last season, he was with the Jacksonville Icemen. 2 years ago, he was with the Wheeling Nailers. He actually had a Gordie Howe hat trick against the Grizzlies on February 28th of 2021. He ended up finishing up the Gordie Howe hat trick with the fight with Hunter Skinner. Hunter Skinner threw a big-time punch at Mikalchuk, and Mikalchuk got a fighting major for that. He had 1 goal and 1 assist earlier in the game. That's the game that's best remembered for the goalie fight at center ice between Utah's Utah's Kevin Carr and Wheeling's Francois Brassard. And so Mikalchuk, who's 6'3" and about 180 pounds, will make his Grizzlies debut. And I was really impressed with what I saw when he played for Wheeling last year. And with Jacksonville, I think if I remember right, he even played a couple games when Jacksonville was here at Maverick Center this past February. I think he's going to be a good addition to the lineup, and I think he's going to be a good fit for Ryan Kanasewicz's system. Vladislav Mikalchuk will wear number 25 for the Grizzlies tonight. Earlier today, the Grizzlies did get Andrew Nilsson back from San Diego, but they also lost Cameron Wright to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. Wright had 3 assists on Sunday, and really think about a guy over his last 11 games, has 2 goals and 11 assists. He's been outstanding. He's got 25 shots on goal in his last 5 games. But really, when you think about all the players the Grizzlies recently have lost to AHL call-ups, I mean, you're talking about 7 guys that have played 2 or more games for the Grizzlies this season who are right now in the AHL. It was 8 before Andrew Nilsson came back earlier today. But you think about this week alone, losing Cameron Wright and Zach Sekos to the Eagles, last week losing Taryn Pfizer, who went to Colorado. And don't forget about Brandon Cutler, who was loaned to the Belleville Senators. Cutler's played in a couple games with Belleville. Ben Tardif and Nate Klerman, they each went up to Colorado earlier in November, and looks like they played well for the Eagles, but obviously they've been in Colorado, which doesn't help the Grizzlies over the last few weeks. And remember Kyle Betts, 2 or 3 games into his season, was loaned to Belleville, and he's still there. Word has it that he actually got injured in Belleville, and it's possible at some point later in the season he might return to Utah, but that's still to be decided. Kyle Betts, a pretty good two-way forward who took and won a lot of faceoffs for the Grizzlies earlier in the season. So you're talking about losing a lot of guys, most of them forwards, and so it's an opportunity for players to step up. And I think that from the Grizzlies fan perspective, seeing Dakota Raby score 2 goals in each of the 3 games last week against the Lions, that's certainly encouraging. To see guys like Johnny Walker, who's got 5 goals in his last 10 games. And really, I think when you think about Tyler Penner, who's going to be on the top line tonight as a center, Tyler Penner's got a goal in back-to-back games. And it was certainly great to see him on the stat sheet because he was one of Utah's real glue guys last season, a guy who could do a little bit of everything. And he's been good in front of the net in particular. So, obviously a lot of forwards are now in the AHL, a lot of talented forwards at that, which means it's just an opportunity for guys like Tyler Penner to step up. Neil Robinson's been encouraging. I think Keaton Jamison had a pretty good series last week against the Lions. And so it's just an opportunity for guys to step up and play a little bit of a bigger role, without guys like Sekos and Wright and Pfizer, who have really carried the mail for the Grizzlies earlier on this season. We got Guy Carenza hanging out here, and, a lot of people are making their pick to click already on the live chat. Looks like Becky Holso's going with Andrew Nilsson. Looks like Nadine Hellewell's got Kyle Pouncey as her pick to click. It looks like Rich Johnson, he's a good friend of the program, a loyal listener. He's going with Trent Miner, who's going to be the starting goaltender tonight. Before we get your pick-to-click guy, you think about all the forwards the Grizzlies have lost to the AHL, but, it's just an opportunity for guys like Tyler Penner to step up and, Keaton Jamison. And I think that, the encouraging thing, not only, for the Grizzlies to get 2 out of 3 games against the Lions last weekend, but the fact that it was not necessarily the guys that were leading the stat sheet getting them. Cam Strong with a goal on Sunday. It's good to see those other guys that you're really going to have to count on this week against Idaho because of, players like Cameron Wright and Zach Sekos being called up. It's going to be big for those guys here this weekend, if they want to have some success against Idaho, for those guys to, play well. And I think that, it was encouraging to see what they did last week. And I think that's going to be the most intriguing thing here tonight is who's going to step up and play that big role.
Yeah, Tyson, I agree. And I think that series against the Lions, winning those last 2, was just what the doctor ordered for the Grizzlies. I mean, they played well in those last 2 games. And I think I really want to highlight one player in particular is Dakota Raby. I mean, he played fantastic in those last 2 games in that series. And so it'll be interesting to see if he can carry that over into this Idaho series, which the Grizzlies really need him to do that, with the lack of forwards that they have here with guys getting called up to the A. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that train rolling and get the rest of this team rolling as they go into Idaho here.
I was really hoping Dakota Raby would be the league's player of the week last week. He scored 2 goals in each of the 3 games. He was a runner-up for the league honor, but he didn't get it. I thought he was certainly worthy of getting the league player of the week award, but who knows, maybe this week will be the week for Dakota, and he's going to be on the top forward line this evening. A couple other guys that really stepped up, a couple defensemen. Bryson Martin, who I believe is actually going to be playing forward tonight for the Grizzlies. He's got a point in 3 of his last 4 games. He's really stepped up, and Victor Bartley, over his last 2 games, he got 2 straight multiple point contests. He had 1 goal and 1 assist on Sunday, but the night before he had 2 assists. Victor Bartley has really stepped forward and played well for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Victor Bartley has been a very pleasant surprise for this Grizzlies team. A guy that's got a lot of experience with hockey throughout the course of his career. And he knows Coach Kanasowicz very well. They played together a number of years ago. But, I mean, I feel like he brings a very good veteran presence to this team. And I think he's a leader for this team. And I think he's kind of showing these guys how to find their way and how to find their game. And I think that's what we're starting to see from the Grizzlies. And we saw that a little bit in the last series. They're starting to find their way. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Well, when was that going to happen? I think it's around this time where teams start to find out who they really are. What kind of team are you? And so I think we're starting to find out what kind of team the Grizzlies are. And I think these 2 games here in Idaho are going to be statement games for them. If they can come out, at least with the split, I think that'll be huge for them.
It'll be interesting to see what Aaron Tho does in his second game in a Grizzlies uniform. I thought he looked impressive on Sunday. A guy that's got good size, but he moves around well. And after all, he's got professional experience with Wheeling and Kalamazoo. So it's not like he's new to this thing. In fact, if I remember right, Tho was with Wheeling back in the 2020-21 season, which means he's a teammate of the newest Grizzly, Vladislav Mikhalchuk. Those guys were teammates 2 years ago in Wheeling. So obviously there could be some chemistry there. I'm interested in seeing what Mikhalchuk brings to the table because I remember watching him a couple years ago when Wheeling played Utah, and I think he even played a couple games when Jacksonville was here last year. Kind of a lanky forward that's got, if I remember right, long arms, and I was really impressed with his offensive skill level, and I'm curious to see what he's able to bring to the table. He'll wear number 25, and he'll probably see a lot of ice time for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I like that term, lanky. He's 6'4", 185, so he's got some height to him. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I wonder how quickly it'll take him to adapt to the Grizzlies system and kind of find his way with this team. But I think it's a nice addition for the Grizzlies here.
It's the Grizzlies and the Steelheads face off in about 6 minutes from now. I'm checking to see if we get the starting lineups, and it doesn't look like we have them yet. We do know who's going to be in the lineup for the Grizzlies. Let's go over that as Utah is going with 17 skaters this evening, 11 forwards, 6 defensemen, but there are 3 defensemen who are playing as forwards tonight. Joey Kulatarchi seems to be a forward as much as he is a defenseman, and he's a forward once again this evening wearing number 4. Remember, he got in a fight in the second period on Sunday against Riley McKay. Jordan Stone's in the lineup. It'll be his 3rd game of the season. Stone will be a forward, and Bryson Martin, who's got a point in 3 of his last 4 games. Looks like Martin is also going to be a forward for the Grizzlies this evening. The other forwards we're expected to see include Neil Robinson, who's wearing number 27 last year. He was number 22. Robinson's got 1 goal and 1 assist in 6 games. Tyler Penner's got a goal in 2 straight games. He's appeared in all 17 contests, this being the 17th game, and he's in there once again for the Grizzlies. And Johnny Walker, watch out for him. He's got 5 goals in his last 10 games. That's an interesting line because you think about Penner and him being in front of the net, and you also think about Johnny Walker, where does he like to occupy himself? And that's right there in the crease. And, Guy, I think that's going to be an interesting pairing there with Penner and Walker. And I think, Neil Robinson's got some playmaking ability to where I think there's some potential there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with that line. I think the big key is, like you said, getting in front of the net. Idaho has a few very good goaltenders, and so you got to make life tough for him. You got to get in front of him. You got to screen him, and you got to get some tips. You got to get some puck luck. And I think the last time we saw Idaho, the Grizzlies didn't get very much puck luck. They had a tough time scoring goals against Idaho. So I think the key is to not only get shots on goal, but you got to get that first goal against Idaho. They're 9-0 when scoring first. They're a very dangerous team. They don't give you a lot of opportunities. So when they do give you those opportunities, you got to capitalize on them. You got to make the most of it.
At 3-man forward unit, we mentioned Walker, Penner, and Robinson. That's the starting forwards for the Grizzlies tonight. Starting defensive pairing, the captain, Connor McDonald. Boy, we looked like should have been the lead here, and we kind of buried the lead. McDonald is back after missing only 1 game. Remember, he got hurt in the second period on Saturday. Missed Sunday's game, and he's back in there for the Grizzlies wearing number 5, and he'll be paired up with Andrew Nilsson. Nilsson earlier this week was loaned to the AHL's San Diego Gulls. That was on Tuesday. Played in Wednesday's game with San Diego against Colorado, and now he's back in a Grizzlies uniform. He played in 1 game with San Diego, but he's back, and he's in the starting lineup for the Grizzlies wearing number 44. He leads the club with 16 assists and 18 points this season. Let's get back to the forwards for the Grizzlies tonight. We mentioned the starters, Walker, Penner, and Robinson. We'll also see Keaton Jamison in there wearing number 12. Dylan Fitz, number 13, is in there for Utah. Both Jamison and Fitz have 2 goals on the season. Bryson Martin and Jordan Stone are acting as forwards this evening, as is Joey Kolatarchi. Dakota Raby, who was the player of the week last week for the Grizzlies and a runner-up for player of the week in the league. He'll be in there wearing number 22. He's got 3 straight 2-point games. We'll also see Christian Simeone, who got in a fight, although I think they actually officially called it a double minor for roughing. Simeone wearing number 24 for the Grizzlies and making his Grizzlies debut, Vladislav Mikalchuk. He'll be wearing number 25. This will be his 4th different team in the ECHL. He's previously played with Adirondack, Jacksonville, and Wheeling. Defensive pairing, we mentioned McDonald and Nilsson are the starters. We will also see Corey Thomas. Thomas, a former Idaho Steelhead, is back in Idaho as a member of the Grizzlies. He's 6'5" and 210 pounds. We'll also see Kyle Pouncey in there wearing number 23. Aaron Tho, who's making his 2nd appearance in a Grizzlies uniform. And Victor Bartley, who's got 2 points in each of his last 2 games. He had 2 assists last Saturday in a Grizzlies 5-4 victory. And this past Sunday in the rubber match against the Lions, he had 1 goal and 1 assist. So that's the lineup for the Grizzlies. Starting lineup for the Idaho Steelheads. It's going to be Adam Schill in net. He's got a record of 3-1 with a 1.52 goals against average and 949 save percentage. That's right. Idaho's goaltenders have been unbelievable this season. It's going to be Schill in net. Jake Kupski, who's got 3 shutouts this season, was sent to the AHL's Texas Stars earlier today, so the backup is Remy Poirier. Starting defensive pairing for the Steelheads, Matt Register, who's a plus 22 this season. That's a plus 22 in 16 games. He's got 1 goal and 9 assists. And he's paired up with Darren Brady, who's a plus 21. Brady actually won the league's plus performer of the month, which goes to the player that had the best plus minus over the course of a month, and that was Darren Brady, who this season has only 2 assists, only 2 points, but he's a plus 21 in 10 games. So Darren Brady and Matt Register are the starting defensive pairing. Starting forwards, Jade Miller, who's wearing number 26. He's got 6 goals and 3 assists in 16 games, and he's a plus 12. Jack Becker, who has a couple goals against the Grizzlies this season. He has 2 this year, 1 against the Grizzlies in 16 games. He has 11 points and a plus 9 rating. And Jonas Vandenbergs, who had a goal in each of the 3 games here at Mavericks Center a couple weeks ago when the Steelheads swept the Grizzlies and outscored Utah 13-3. Vandenberg's wearing number 72. One guy who did not play in that series at Mavericks Center was Jonas Vandenbergs. Vandenberg scored the goal, but it was Jordan Kawaguchi who didn't play in any of those 3 games. He's got 6 points in 10 games. He's one of their more talented skaters, so watch out for him, as well as A.J. White, who has 9 points in 16 games. White, the captain. Ryan Domowski's got 11 goals this season, and Ty Pelton-Bice is a plus 12 and has 8 goals and 12 assists in 16 games. So there's a lot of guys who have really produced for the Steelheads this year. They've got a record of 13-2-0-1. I think for the Grizzlies, just got to find a way to buckle down and really just do all the little things to come away with 2 standings points. And Trent Miner is going to be in net. As we're still talking with Guy Carenza here, face-off will be shortly over at Idaho Central Arena. And Guy, I think Trent Miner, who had a 30-save shutout against Sunday, and he was in rare form, he's going to have to really going to have to get off to a fast start for the Grizzlies if they want to, be able to stay in this game.
Yeah, Tyson, I think that's one of the keys of the game is Trent Miner had a fantastic outing the last time against the Lions. It's got to carry over into this game. He's got to stand on top of his head and be a brick wall here for the Grizzlies against the Steelheads, who are a high-flying team. They take a lot of shots. They score a lot of goals. They need somebody to shut that down, and Trent Miner's got to be that guy.
The Grizzlies and the Steelheads meeting for the 6th time this season. Idaho is 4-1 this year against Utah. When we come back in 1 minute, we'll have face-off over at Idaho Central Arena on a remote broadcast. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Carenza. Face-off's coming up next. This has been the Utah Grizzlies pregame show presented by America First Credit Union on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
It's a great day for hockey as 2 big standings points are on the line tonight as Utah Grizzlies are over at Idaho Central Arena. I'm Tyson Whiting, hanging out here high atop Section 114 at Maverick Center, watching on the Flow Sports feed, and we'll see if we can describe a good one for you. Starting in net for the Grizzlies is going to be Trent Miner. Miner this season has a 2-5 record with 1 shutout. They came in his last outing on Sunday in a 4-0 victory against the 12 Riviera Lions. He's got a 3.12 goals against average and .899 save percentage. Starting defensive pairing, Connor McDonald and Andrew Nilsson. That's right, Nilsson back after spending 1 game with the AHL San Diego Gulls. He didn't miss a game for Utah, as he did play on Sunday, and only spent a couple days over in San Diego, appearing in 1 game and had 2 penalty minutes. Starting forwards, Johnny Walker, who's got 5 goals and 1 assist this year. Walker has appeared in all 17 Grizzlies games, as has Tyler Penner, who's got a goal in back-to-back games. And we will also see Neil Robinson, who's got 1 goal and 1 assist in 6 games this season. That's Robinson's 7th game of the campaign. Grizzlies are wearing a black jersey with white numbers, white lettering, professional green trim, a little bit of white and professional green on the elbows as Trent Miner is in net. For the Grizzlies, as he puts his helmet on, and what can Trent do for an encore? Remember, he was outstanding against the Steelheads last season. And for Idaho, it's going to be Adam Schill, who's got a record of 3-1. His backup is Remy Poirier, who's got a record of 4-0-0-1. Schill is 6'3" and 192 pounds. All 3 of the goaltenders who have played for the Steelheads this year have been outstanding, as Idaho's got a record of 13-2-0-1. They are 7-1 at home. The only loss came by the hands of the Grizzlies in the 3rd game of the season, October 28th, as the Grizzlies ended up winning 2-1. They were, if I remember right, 13 seconds away from a shutout. And so the only loss by Idaho at home was by the hands of the Grizzlies. Referee tonight is Sam Heidemann. The linesmen are Scott DeBaugh and Jared Thomas. Puck is going to be dropped at center ice. The Grizzlies are going to be skating from left to right as we see it on Flow Sports. In your mind's eye, see it on YouTube. Utah wins the draw. They get it over to Connor McDonald, who's back after missing only one game. McDonald crosses center ice and dumps it into the left corner. Grizzlies chase after it as it rolls back towards the right side. Idaho in a white jersey will toss it cross ice. Jade Miller chases after it. Miner behind his net will flip it over towards the far side. It bounced off the Steelhead. Now Idaho in the right circle will skate around the net. McDonald will charge after him. Grizzlies will feed it up top as the Steelheads, they keep it in. Does Darren Brady. They'll throw it over to the right side as it rolls back towards Becker. He gets hit by McDonald behind the net, and we get a whistle as it looked like the puck ended up, well, I'm not sure where the puck ended up. I rolled towards McDonald as it was on the end wall and then rolled towards Trent, who was able to cover up as we get our first save of the game, and the puck is going to be in the Grizzly zone in the right circle as we're underway. My pick to click tonight is going to be Keaton Jamison. That's my pick to click guy. Who's your pick to click this evening?
Let me go with Dakota Raby to keep up that stellar performance from the last 2 games.
Raby's got 2 points in each of his last 3 games. Vladislav Mikulchuk in his first shift in a Grizzlies uniform will nudge it ahead after Utah won the draw. Raby's out there along with Jamison and Mikulchuk as the puck is deep in the Idaho zone. Steelheads have it. They're skating from right to left as the clock on Flow Sports is not working right now. Right now, they still have it listed as 20 minutes as the Steelheads. Mikulchuk shadowing as Idaho will skate over Dawson Bardo. Number 51 will dump it in. Bardo's a -3 this season. Miner behind his net will throw it to the far side as the Grizzlies will start the attack. They get it to Mikulchuk on the right wing. He'll step over the offensive line. Right wing shot. Glove saved by Schill, and he holds on as he made that save over his head. And the shot would have gone high and wide, but Schill, the big guy at 6'3" and 192 pounds, held on to it as the draw is going to be in the Steelhead zone. And I think you have to like, if you're the Grizzlies, that kind of movement from left to right. The Grizzlies here in their first couple shifts have really settled in offensively as the draw is going to be in the Steelhead zone. First of a 2-game set. These teams will meet tomorrow night, 7:10 face-off, which is the same as it was tonight as the Steelheads win the draw. Darren Brady will throw it towards the far side. They try to pitch it towards Becker at center ice. It goes to Christian Simeone. He battles along the far wall. Bryson Martin over there, he's playing forward tonight as the Steelheads skate in 3-on-2 over to the right side. They get around a skater, centering pass, shot and a score. And the Steelheads draw first blood. Is that Ty Pelton-Bice skating down the middle? I think it is. Pelton-Bice gets a hug from everybody. No, it's not Pelton-Bice. It's Jordan Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi wearing number 77. Pelton-Bice obviously wears number 17, but it's Kawaguchi who got a nice centering pass and knew what to do with it as he has given the Steelheads a 1-0 lead as they toss the fish on the ice, which happens after Idaho's first goal every home game, as they spotlight the fish and a guy gets the fish, salutes it, as the Steelheads in their 25th anniversary have scored first. It was A.J. White who was on the right side as they show a replay that centered it to Kawaguchi. Grizzlies had a guy diving in front to try to intercept the pass, but the pass got through, and Kawaguchi made a nice move on Trent Miner. So Steelheads have scored first tonight. As they get the fish off the ice, A.J. White will take the draw as we're 1:30 into the contest. 18:30 left in the first as Idaho leads 1-0. Steelheads win the face-off. They'll throw it towards the near side. Connor McDonald has a bounce off his skate over to Nielsen. Andrew surveys as he'll throw it towards the middle, and it rolls towards Schill. As Schill plays it in the crease, he'll bounce off the end boards. Turnover, shot and a score! And that's Christian Simeone, freshly shaved, as it looked like there was a turnover on the left side. Simeone put it away, and just like that, the Grizzlies get on the board. And for Christian Simeone, that's his first goal of the season. He scored 5 in 55 games last season. Looked like Simeone was sporting a beard last week. He is clean-shaven, as it was just a weird play where Schill had the puck in the crease, bounced it off the end boards. It went towards Simeone in the left side, and Christian just put it away on a one-timer. So the Grizzlies get on the board 17 seconds after Kawaguchi scored for Idaho. So we're tied at 1 as the Steelheads win the draw. They skate from right to left as Matt Register skates down the middle. Now feed it over to the right side, and puck ends up deep in the Grizzlies zone as Willie Nerum over in the left corner looks to center it. Shot saved by Miner. That shot was taken by Justin Misiak wearing number 19. As the puck still in the Grizzlies zone as Idaho will feed it over to the left side. Now they're in the circle, and a righty shot and a score. And that's Zane Franklin picking up his 5th goal of the season as he was all alone in the left circle, and he went top shelf where Mama hides the cookie jar and went over Trent Miner and into the back of the net. What a shot by Franklin as we've had ourselves a wild early start to the first 3 minutes here as Idaho leads 2-1. Boy, Franklin, I don't even know. He just threw it right over Miner's right shoulder. There wasn't much Trent can do there, as it didn't look like there was much room for Franklin to get a shot off, but he was able to get it off, and he picks up his 5th goal of the season. 17:44 left in the first period. It's the Steelheads 2 and the Grizzlies 1. Kawaguchi and Zane Franklin have the Idaho goals, and Christian Simeone has Utah's goal, which was scored with 18:13 left in the first. Idaho back deep in their own zone will restart the attack. They get to center ice, and Tyler Penner took it away. Grizz up ahead to Walker. Walker skates, gets a shot, he scores! Johnny Walker's tied it at 2 as he was all alone at the offensive blue line, skated down and fired a righty shot past Adam Schill. We're tied at 2 with 17:27 left in the first period as Walker high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench, and what a crazy start to this one. Trying to see you through that outlet pass to Walker. Walker just, once he collected the pass, skated over the offensive line and was just all alone for pretty much a breakaway. Walker is all smiles as he gets his 6th of the year. 2.5 minutes into the game, we've already had 4 goals, two on each side. Steelheads win the draw, and they dump it in as Miner throws it towards the far side. Grizzlies lift it high into the air. It bounces at center ice. Idaho regathers it. Steelheads will throw it towards the center ice area near their bench area on the near side. Idaho will bounce it off a body, and that was number 17, Ty Pelton-Bice, who was outstanding a couple weeks ago against the Grizzlies. Utah dumps it in. Nick Canati, number 3. He's over in the left corner. So he's being shadowed by Neil Robinson. He'll nudge it ahead, puck along the far boards. Vladislav Mikalchuk will skate in, but he skates in offside. And Mikalchuk in his Grizzlies debut, and he's pretty tall at 6'3" and about 180 pounds. And he's somebody to watch out for. 4th different ECHL team he's been a part of. He scored 1 goal in 12 games of that Adirondack earlier this season. Draw at neutral ice, 16:56 left in the first. Utah wins it. Neutral ice shot saved by Schill, and he'll give it to Matt Register. As Schill goes down, Jamison in the area, and it looks like it's going to be a penalty on Jamison. Delayed call as the Steelheads will fire it out to the near side for Ty Pelton-Bice. He'll feed it to the right. Idaho steps over the offensive line, skates towards the right circle. Now around the net. Idaho tries to feed it out in front to Keller. It bounced off the body, and the Grizzlies trying to touch it up. It stays in play. Right circle shot, and it gets blocked. Puck still in play as Register will feed it over towards the near boards near the corner to Colton Keller. Keller with a shot saved by Miner. Grizzlies finally touch it up off the rebound. And with 16:20 left in the first, looks like we're going to have our first power play of the game, as Adam Schill was in front of his net, and it looked like Jamison tripped him up. And Keaton Jamison will get 2 minutes, and he's in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell, probably tripping as Jamison was in the area. Yep, he tripped Adam Schill, and it was a good call by the referee tonight at Sam Heidemann. Jamison in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. Have you or someone you know been charged with a DUI? Rogers and Russell is Utah's DUI defense firm. Consequences for driving under the influence are serious. You need great attorneys on your first line. As the Steelheads win the face-off, as they'll throw it over to the right circle. We're tied at 2. Idaho centers it. It's picked off by McDonald, who clears it out. We're about 4 minutes into the game, and we're already tied at 2. As the Steelheads have first period goals from Zane Franklin and Jordan Kawaguchi. Grizzlies have goals from Christian Simeone and Johnny Walker as the Steelheads skate in along the far side, enter the zone, feed it to the corner. And now it goes to the left point as Register will feed it to the right side. Now back up top to Register. He's in the high slot. Register with a lefty shot, and it's blocked. And the Grizzlies tried to clear it out. Register kept it in. It was blocked by Victor Bartley. As White behind the net feeds to the right corner, and it's picked off. As Bartley gets it, and he'll slam it all the way down towards the Steelhead zone. Grizzlies make a line change. Looks like so too the Steelheads. As there's a minute 7 and counting left in the Idaho power play. Their first of the game this season. They're at 25%. On the power play, Grizzlies penalty kill 78.6%. Register crosses center ice. Now skate down the middle, gain the line, and feeds it to the left side for Domowski. Now up top for Owen Hedrick. He'll get it to the right side for Keller. Keller dancing around the right circle, looks to center it, and gets picked off. And the Grizzlies, they try to clear it out. It stays in the right point. Now to the slot for Register. He'll feed it to the left side for Keller. Now back to Hedrick. Fakes a shot, gets to the right circle. One-timer, and it goes wide. It rolls along the boards. Register gets to Hedrick. Now to the right circle. Lefty shot. That's blocked. Oh, it's saved by Miner as there are some bodies out in front, but the shot was saved by Trent as he makes a glove save. 31 seconds left in the Idaho power play. 14:50 left in the first. We're tied at 2. Ryan Kanaswich looking at his lineup, and he's looking at his lineup sheet, assessing his options. Grizzlies are 8-8 this season. They are 5-3 on the road. Idaho is 7-1 at home. The only loss that Idaho has suffered at Idaho Central Arena is to the hands of the Grizzlies. Utah wins the draw. Dakota Raby clears it all the way out towards Adam Scheel. He'll nudge it ahead towards Ty Pelton-Bice. Pelton-Bice wearing 17, kind of similar to Kawaguchi, especially with the way the numbers are on the Steelheads jersey. Now to the right side, Idaho will step over the offensive line. They'll get to the corner for Domowski. He'll spin it back around, and Ty Pelton-Bice couldn't keep it in as it rolls all the way along the far wing boards. And Adam Scheel will play it behind his net. Out of the penalty box is Keaton Jamison. Good penalty kill by the Grizzlies. We're tied at 2, just about 6 minutes into the game. Jamison has the puck. He'll feed it to the right corner as the Grizzlies make a change. Jamison still on the ice, though, as big hit behind the Idaho net. Jamison in the area. Puck squirts towards the left corner. Cole Tarchi will throw it up top to Nielsen, who fakes a shot. Now he takes one. Saved by Scheel. And he holds on as Nielsen looking for his 3rd goal of the season. And he was denied by the glove of Adam Scheel. Time out on the ice. We'll take one as well. Wild first segment of play as we're tied at 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Mountain Land Supply Company.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
We're tied at 2, 13:58 left in the first period, as we've had ourselves a wild start to this game. As the Steelheads win the draw, they're in their own zone. They skate around the net, looking for Misiak over on the right side. Goes past him, deep into the Grizzlies zone. No icing as Idaho got there first. Steelheads throw it towards the left point for Register. He'll feed it across. Brady back towards the left side. They're trying to get it back to Brady, and it goes past everybody towards Brady. Now Register back to Brady in the right point. He'll feed it across to Willie Neerum. Neerum chips it to the right corner. Brady skeets over there. Shot goes wide. Puck hits off the near boards. Neerum gets it. He looks to center it. Nobody home as it rolls towards the far side and out to center ice. And Darren Brady back in his own zone will chase down the puck. Steelheads get it with Matt Register on the near side. He'll throw it ahead to Kawaguchi. Kawaguchi out towards center ice, and the Steelheads get it poked away. Grizzlies skate from left to right here in the first period as Kyle Pouncey throws a pass blue line to blue line. It connects. Grizzlies, Dakota Raby trying to get it back towards Pouncey, was cutting down the middle. Idaho picks it off. Now to the left side. Steelheads. Wade Murphy with a shot blocked by Penner. Puck goes towards the near corner. Now up top for Dawson Bardo. They'll feed it to the high slot for Hedrick. Now to the right side. Idaho will skate towards the high slot. Kawaguchi, lefty shot, and that one goes wide. Now it goes back up top to Hedrick, who fakes a shot. Now he takes a righty shot. I looked for Kawaguchi cutting down the middle, and he got poked away by a Grizzly stick onto the right corner. Now right circle shot. That one goes wide on a one-timer. Back to Bardo. He skates towards his right. He feeds it to the left side. Murphy now to the slot as A.J. White will skate towards his right. I try to pitch it out in front and hit off a body and goes to the right corner. Kawaguchi over to Hedrick. He takes a shot. That one goes wide. Murphy feathers it out in front. Utah picks it off as Grizzlies had a lot of bodies out in front of the crease. Walker up ahead to Penner. Penner skates in. He'll skate towards his right. Takes a shot. Saved by Scheel. And the puck ends up going towards center ice. Idaho will start the attack. Grizzlies back defensively. Idaho gets to the offensive line. Right wing shot. Saved by Minor. Trent holds on with an even 12 minutes left in the first period as we're tied at 2. Jordan Kawaguchi scored 130 into the contest with his 4th of the year. And 17 seconds later, 147 in, Christian Simeone scored. And then Idaho took a 2-1 lead, 2:16 in. Zane Franklin got his 5th of the year. And then Johnny Walker picks up his 6th of the year, 17 seconds after that, 2:33 into the first. So we had 4 goals in the first 2 minutes and 33 seconds of this contest. What a crazy start we've had here so far at Idaho Central Arena. Draws in the right circle. Dylan Fitz will take it against Jonas Vandenbergs. And the draw won by Vandenbergs over to Brady. One-timer that goes wide as it bounced off the body. As Fitz gets over to Aaron Tho. Tho will nudge it ahead to Bryson Martin, who's playing 4 tonight, over to Simeone, who dumps it in. Simeone freshly clean-shaven after a month in November where he had a lot of facial hair. Idaho across the center ice. Grizzlies doing a good job getting back defensively. Steelheads dump it in as Tho will feed it back towards the left corner and chase after it. Tho along the near wall will nudge it ahead towards Fitz, but it stayed on a Steelhead who wrapped it around. Corey Thomas cuts it off behind the Utah net. He'll throw a turnover as Miller, centering pass, shot, saved by Minor. Rebound goes out to the right side, and on the far side, Grizzlies have it as they skeet towards their own goal line. Simeone with an outlet pass to center ice. It bounced off the stick and goes back to Idaho in their zone. Now ahead, Steelheads will dump it back in. Minor with a blocker save towards the left side. Domowski gets double-teamed in the corner. He feeds it around. Pelton Bice chasing after it in the corner as he has to get around Neil Robinson, the Holy Cross product. Tough angled shot saved by Minor. Now left side, Register with a shot saved by Minor, and he holds on as he makes a nice glove stop with 10:54 left in the first. Minor takes his helmet off and gets some water. The draw is going to stay in the Grizzlies zone. During the first intermission, we'll talk with Guy Karenzen. We'll also recap this first period if we can, as it looks like whoever's running the stat sheet right there in Boise is just given up. As it looks like they've pretty much frozen the stat sheet over in the ECHL app with a box score, and we'll keep track as best we can. Idaho wins the draw. Lefty shot gets blocked. Puck along the far wall as Idaho will skate towards the right circle. Lefty shot saved by Minor. Utah gets the rebound. Grizz skate from left to right. Utah neutralized will feed it to Jamison, who skates in from the right side, drops it off from McCallchuck. He'll take a righty shot, and it goes wide. Puck rolls along the far side. Grizzlies keep it in. Nilsson throws it to the corner. McCallchuck over to the far side. Nudges up top for Robinson. Now to Nilsson. Lefty shot. That goes wide, and it rolls along the near boards. Colton Keller still in his own zone. Will nudge it to center ice. Taken by Pelton Bice. He'll feed it to the right. Idaho steps over the line, gets around Nilsson. Lefty shot. That one goes wide. Minor might have gotten a piece of it as it goes back towards Jamison. We got a whistle, and we got a slash called by Sam Heidemann. Who's it going to be on? Well, it looks like the Grizzlies' door to the penalty box is open, and Andrew Nilsson will serve 2 minutes for slashing. It will be penalty minutes 28 and 29 on the season for Nilsson. He's in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. As Nilsson will serve 2 minutes for slashing. It'll be the second power play for Idaho here tonight. We're tied at 2, halfway through the first period. Idaho has goals from Jordan Kawaguchi and Zane Franklin. Grizzlies have goals from Christian Simeone and Johnny Walker. All the goals were scored in the first 2 minutes and 33 seconds of the contest. Draws in the Grizzlies zone as Nilsson's in there 2 minutes for slashing. Idaho wins the draw. Pelton Bice feeds over to the right side. Shot. It gets blocked, and the Grizzlies clear it out. I think that's Dakota Raby that blocked it and cleared it out at the same time. Boy, Raby's really coming into his own. He was outstanding against the Lions. He looks like he's off to a good start tonight. Idaho at neutralized, cross the center. Skating from the left side is Domowski. He'll get to the left circle, centering pass, shot, and it goes wide. Puck ends up along the end wall, over in the right corner. Steelheads will feed it up to the right point. Now back to Hedrick. Hedrick over to the right side as Pelton Bice will feed it to the circle. Now back to Hedrick, who fakes a one-timer. Now he takes a shot, saved by Minor. Grizzlies clear it out on the rebound as Idaho will have to chase back after it. 1:13 and counting left in the Idaho power play. 9:20 and counting left in the first. We're tied at 2. Idaho back in their own zone as they make a line change. Dawson Bardo will get it. Bardo wearing number 51. He's got 1 assist in 14 games this season. He'll skate down the middle at center ice, loses the puck, and Pouncey will clear it all the way out towards Adam Scheel. Idaho will have to restart the attack again. 50 seconds left in their power play. Register throws to the far side. Idaho crosses center, and they'll wrap it around the boards. Kawaguchi on the left side spins it back around towards the right corner. It's cut off by Utah. Dylan Fitz tried to backhand clear it out, and it bounced off a Steelhead. Now Bartley gets it. He'll skate towards his end wall. He'll get it across to McDonald and Connor. Oh, I tried to clear it out. Register kept it in. Now pass towards the middle. Utah pokes it away, and it goes all the way down into the Steelhead zone. 25 seconds and counting left in the Steelheads power play. 8:30 left in the first as Idaho will feed it to the left side for Kawaguchi. Drops it off for White. AJ skates towards the far corner. He'll throw it to the right side. Now up top to Register. He'll take a lefty shot. That one goes wide, hard off the boards, and Bartley will feed it to the far side. Penner gets it, and he'll toss it ahead. It was past a Grizzly late in the power play for Idaho. As Shield behind his net. As out of the penalty box right now is Andrew Nilsson. Good penalty kill by the Grizzlies, who are 2 for 2 so far tonight. Nilsson will skate towards the bench. As Idaho at neutralized crosses center. Now they'll gain the offensive line and dump it in. Corey Thomas chasing after it. Thomas, a former Steelhead. He was cut in training camp by Idaho. Grizzlies throw it to Aaron Tho. He'll nudge it ahead towards Penner, and the pass is wide of the mark. Idaho comes back the other way. Pass towards the Utah blue line doesn't connect. Grizzlies will bounce it off the near boards. Looking for Penner. It goes past him on to Idaho as the Steelheads in their own zone. Kanadi feeds to the far side. Now Idaho tries to skate in. Pass doesn't connect at neutral ice. Grizzlies step over the offensive line. Raby stops in the right point as we get a whistle offside on Utah, and Nick Kanadi and Dakota Raby push each other. Raby talking with Kanadi. There's quite a few Grizzlies players who are now clean shaven. That wasn't the case when they played the Lions last weekend. We're tied at 2, 7:30 left in the first period. This is Utah Grizzlies hockey, presented by Mountain Land Supply Company.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
We're tied at 2. All 4 of the goals in this game have been scored in the first 2:33 of the contest. The ECHL box score looks like it's having a tough time updating. There were so many goals scored the first 3 minutes. We'll keep you updated on the stats that we can. Still, have it at center ice as Justin Misiak dumps it in as action in the Grizzlies zone. As it rolls back towards the slot, Grizzlies poke it towards the far circle. Johnny Walker clears it out to center ice. Walker picked up his 6th goal of the season, 2:33 in, and that's where we stand now, tied at 2. As Walker scored the last of 4 goals total in the first 2:33 of the contest. Walker gets the puck, and he'll throw it to the far side off the boards for Bartley. Victor crosses center ice, and he'll chip it towards the corner. It's gloved by Dawson Bardo. He'll skate around his net, and he'll feed it to the right corner. Walker skates over there as he collides with the Steelhead, and that was Willie Nearham. Now puck along the near wall. Robinson gets taken away. McDonald gets it at center ice and dumps it back in. As Owen Hedrick gets it, number 7. He'll feed it to the far side as Idaho skates from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports. Ahead, 2-on-1. Pelton bites the right side eye, trying to center it. And a good job by the Grizzlies cutting off the pursuit as the Grizzlies now start the attack 2-on-3. Simeone, right circle, shot. That goes wide. And Shield might have gotten a piece of it. Grizzlies throw it up top towards McDonald, but it's picked off by Idaho. Ryan Domowski crosses center ice, and he looks to center it to Pelton Bice. Picked off by Utah. Simeone gets it. He skates towards his goal line and feeds it across towards Nilsson. It bounced off his stick and goes towards the right point. Now Utah, as it's turned over to the left circle, Kawaguchi tries to get around Simeone as he skates around the net. Kawaguchi now on the right side, up top for Register. Matt will skate towards his right. He'll feed it to the left corner as the Steelheads chase after it. Pelton Bice gets the puck, looked to center it to Kawaguchi. He couldn't accept the pass. Grizzlies gather it. Utah throws it towards center ice as they make a line change. And Darren Brady over there, but the linesman says icing on the Grizzlies as the puck just kind of looks like the ice surface is a lot better than it was last time the Grizzlies were there. And looked like the puck just kind of glided all the way deep into the Steelhead zone. And they got an icing call, so the Grizzlies can't make the line change with 5:39 left in the first. Victor Bartley's got an A on his sweater, and I think Dylan Fitz also has an A, but it's great to see the captain, Connor McDonald, back. I was a little bit concerned when he got injured on Saturday that he'd be out a while, but it looked like he just missed the one game, which was on Sunday, where Utah won 4-0. Great to see the captain back in the Grizzlies lineup after, really only missing that one game. Draw one by the Steelheads. They're in the offensive zone battling in the corner as they look to center it and hit the side of the net. Idaho feeds to the far circle. Raby picks it off. Dakota Raby with great speed, crosses center ice and dumps it into the corner. Raby chases after it. He'll throw it around the net. Grizzlies in the right corner. Robinson gets hit as he continues to battle. Vladislav Mikulchuk gets it to Jamison. One-timer, saved by Shield. And he holds on somehow as Mikulchuk with a pretty good shot from the right side. Same with Jamison. I think it was Jamison that took that shot with 5:16 left in the first. Remember, it's the first of a 5-game road trip for the Grizzlies. These teams will meet on Saturday night. 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. And then the Jacksonville Icemen will entertain the Grizzlies for a 3-game set over in Jacksonville. And I'm really looking forward to that series in part because of all the former Grizzlies that are on the Jacksonville roster. And you think about it, there's at least 4 guys, 4 former Grizzlies playing for Jacksonville, including fan favorite Travis Howe, who was a folk hero in his time with the Grizzlies. He's wearing number 24 for Jacksonville, and a couple other former Grizzlies. Hunter Skinner wearing number 3. It's kind of interesting when you see the Grizzlies sign Vladislav Mikulchuk, the Belarus native, because Hunter Skinner hit him with a pretty good punch a couple years ago when Mikulchuk was playing for Wheeling and Skinner was with the Grizzlies. Jacksonville also has Luke Martin. Martin and Charles Edward Dastu were, for my money, the best defensive pairing in the league. And the starting goaltender for Jacksonville is Parker Gahagan. So it should be a fun series December 7th, 9th, and 10th. I think face-off all 3 nights will be at about 5:05 in the Mountain Time Zone. And then the Grizzlies return home for a 2-game set against the Kansas City Mavericks. We'll talk about the next homestand here throughout the road trip. Offensive zone draw for the Grizzlies. They win it. Aaron Tho skates around the net wearing number 28. Tho and Mikulchuk were teammates with the Wheeling a couple years ago as Idaho's outshot Utah 9-6. Mikulchuk feeds it to the near corner, and getting hit is Tyler Penner, or make that Tho, and the puck ends up along the near side. Utah gets blasted, and Idaho comes out with the puck. Steelheads cross center ice on the near side. Jamison lost his helmet and has to skate off. Corey Thomas around his own net, skates towards the far side. Now the Grizzlies will feed it to Mikulchuk. All register cut in front of the pass. Skates towards the offensive line and entered, but offside on the play as Aaron Tho and Matt Register collide after the whistle. And faceoff's going to be at neutral ice near the Grizzlies bench. 4:41 is left in the first. Looks like a lighter moment as Register laughed, and so does a couple Grizzly skaters. Walker has a word for Register. As action starting to get physical, that was a big-time hit as they show a replay. Jade Miller really blasted Keaton Jamison. And then after the whistle, it looked like Aaron Tho and Matt Register with a bit of a push, and then both guys kind of exchanged a smile. As with 4:41 left in the first, draws near the Grizzlies bench in the near side, and it's won by Utah. As Bartley will skate towards Minor. Now he'll veer off to the left. He'll get it to Penner. Tyler across to Pouncey. Pouncey crosses center ice and dumps it in. He'll chase after it. He gets around Nick Canati. Now Walker, sharp-angled shot goes wide from the right side as it bounces off the far boards. Robinson back to Bartley in the left point. He fakes a shot, keeps the puck in the left point. They'll feed it to the far goal side. Grizzlies wrap around shot, saved by Shield. Puck squirts back towards the high slot. Bartley with a shot, saved by Shield, and he'll ricochet it over to the far corner. Steelheads gather it as they cross center ice. Left wing pass connects. Willie Nearham stops in the left circle. I look to center it, and it goes wide. Puck rolls towards the right corner as action still in play. Robinson in the far side will feed it back to Pouncey. Kyle will ricochet it off the near boards as it goes to Walker. He crosses center ice. He gets blasted trying to dump it in. Canati will throw it to the right side. Idaho steps in 2-on-3. Right circle shot. Saved by Minor. Rebound to Bryson Martin, who's playing forward tonight. He'll feed it ahead to Dylan Fitz. Pass goes wide of the mark. Is it going to be icing? No, they play on. As Idaho back in their own zone deep as Owen Hedrick has the puck. He's to the side of the net now. Now feed it over to the far side as we're tied at 2. 3.5 minutes left in the first period. Skating against Ty Pelton Bice. He'll skate towards his left. He'll take a lefty shot that goes wide as Domowski feeds it over to the right point. Now across to Bardo. Righty shot. Saved by Minor. Rebound squirts back to the high slot. Bardo will ricochet it off the far boards. Rolls behind the net. Battling Christian Simeone as the puck glides to the corner. McDonald chases after it. 2-on-2. Steelheads come out of it with the puck as they'll throw it up top to Hedrick. Now to Domowski. Left circle. Shot. Glove saved by Minor. And Trent holds on with 2:58 left in the first. We're tied at 2. So after seeing 4 goals combined scored in the first 2 minutes, 33 seconds of the contest, we haven't seen a score since. Idaho's had 2 power plays. The Grizzlies have yet to go on the man advantage. Utah's a perfect 2 for 2 on the penalty kill as they show Everett Sheen, the Idaho head coach. And you got to say early candidates for league coach of the year. You got to think about Everett Sheen. Steelheads missed the playoffs last season for the first time in team history, and Everett Sheen's done an outstanding job rebuilding the Steelheads this year. Utah wins the draw, skating from left to right. They feed it to the right side. Idaho picks it off as the Steelheads gain the offensive line, stop at the point, and the near side. They look to center it as Murphy gets it back. He'll feed it to the left circle. Kawaguchi with a shot that goes wide, and the puck looks like it hits off the protective netting and goes out of play. Like Kawaguchi tried to go high on Minor in kind of a similar spot that Franklin scored right over Trent's right shoulder, which is his stick side. It looked like Trent might have gotten a piece of it and it deflected off of him and goes out of play. During these remote broadcasts, it seems like tracking shots is one of the tougher things to do. Kawaguchi stays on the ice. He's got an AHL contract with the Texas Stars. As it draws over in the left circle, and it's won by Idaho. Wade Murphy in the corner as he collides with Aaron Tho. As the Grizzlies battle 2-on-2 in the corner, Kawaguchi comes out with the puck. He tried to throw it to A.J. White. White couldn't handle it. Grizzlies gather it, and they skate up ice. As Penner crosses center ice and dumps it in. Shield behind his net will feed it over to the right side. It bounced off the Walker. Wade Murphy gets it, and he tried to get it to Darren Brady. Robinson cut in front of him, but he eventually got to Brady. As he'll throw it to the left side, Grizzlies keep it in. Bartley left wing shot, saved by Shield. Rebound goes to Idaho. They feed it ahead, looking for A.J. White. It's picked off by Bartley at the center ice logo, and he'll dump it back in. Shield behind his net gets it. 2 minutes left in the first. We're tied at 2 as Idaho feeds over to the near side. They skate down the middle. Now they'll veer off to the left as they step over the line. Becker with a shot saved by Minor as the puck ends up along the near side. Left point. As Miller skates towards the left circle, lefty shot, saved by Minor, and Trent holds on as Jack Becker was out in front of the net looking for a redirection, but Minor was able to make the save. Trent's allowed a couple rebounds here in the first period, but here over the last couple saves he's been able to catch them cleanly. One of the things with Idaho is they really do a good job from game to game in dominating the shot count. Idaho averages 35.8 shots per game this season. They only allow 28. The Steelheads have a 14-6 edge on the shot count, almost like the guy with the graphics was reading my mind there. I was wondering what the shot count was. It's 14-6 Idaho. Steelheads win the draw as they roll it around towards the right side. Bryson Martin gets it. Martin's got a point in 3 of his last 4 games. He'll get it to McDonald. Now back to Nilsson. He throws the center ice looking for Martin, and Idaho picked it off. Steelheads throw it to the right side, taken away by McDonald as Connor skates around his net. Throws it towards Fitz, but it goes past him, and Bardo gets it at center ice as the Steelheads. Over on the right, step over the line as Utah takes it away immediately. Great defensive effort by the Grizzlies here so far tonight as Connor McDonald skates in from the right side. Right circle, shot, saved by Shield. And he makes a glove save with 1:05 left in the first and holds on. Connor McDonald with a good look, and that kind of was reminiscent of the game winner he had against Allen in early November. Over there from the right side, but Schill was able to make a routine save. Draw's going to be in the Steelhead zone. Adam Schill, wearing number 35, is back up as Remy Poirier. Jake Kupski, who's got 3 shutouts this season, was called up to the AHL earlier today. Draw won by the Steelheads. They'll bounce it off the near glass. We'll go over some of the Grizzlies roster moves during the first intermission if you didn't catch us on the pregame report. Puck squirts into the Grizzlies zone. Chasing after it's McDonald, and Connor will ricochet it off the far wall. Less than 1 minute left in the first period. Steelhead skate down the middle. Shot. That's blocked by McDonald. I think Domowski took that shot. Now puck rolls around the net. Right side. Keller with a shot. Saved by Minor. And Trent holds on as Keller had a pretty good look from the right side. Domowski out there as well. And looks like Idaho's arguing a call. So is Domowski and Keller. As the puck ended up towards the right side, Keller took the shot. Minor was able to make a save. And Keller, after he released the shot, ended up falling on his keister. It looked like Domowski was arguing that a penalty should have been called on Utah, but none to be had. Draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone as Trent Minor has stopped 13 of 15 so far. And Adam Schill on the Idaho side has stopped, I believe, 5 of 7. Draw taken by Penner in the Grizzlies zone, and it's won by Idaho. Steelheads on the right side will throw it up top. Brady over to Keller, one-timer, and he fanned on as it just rolled lightly over towards the end wall. Grizzlies skate from left to right, less than half a minute left in the first period. They throw it to the right looking for Walker. It bounced off him. Johnny, deep in the Idaho zone, chases after it. He gets hit by Register, but keeps his feet. Now, Penner with the hit. Idaho comes back with the puck as they'll cross center ice. Now they were looking for Pelton Bice. Puck stayed along the far boards. As Idaho, with less than 10 seconds left in the first period, will toss it off the near wall, neutral ice. Tho takes it away. He'll backpedal towards Trent Miner, and that will do it for 20 minutes over at Idaho Central Arena. All four of the goals scored in the first period were in the first 2 minutes and 33 seconds of the frame. So it was a wild first couple minutes of play, and then after that, both teams settled in. We'll go over all the scoring and the stats of the first period if we can, as it looks like the ECHL app really had a tough time keeping up with the Grizzlies and Steelheads goals in the first couple minutes. But we'll see if we can describe statistically what happened in the first period. We'll also talk with Guy Carenza and get his thoughts on what he saw in the first 20 minutes of play. We're through one. It's the Steelheads 2 and the Grizzlies 2. Siegfried and Jensen intermission report starts here in 2 minutes on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Utah Operation Lifesaver.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
First intermission over at Idaho Central Arena, and we're tied at 2. All four of the goals in the first period were scored in the first 2 minutes and 33 seconds. We had a crazy first 3 minutes of play here in the first of a 2-game series, and the first of 5 straight on the road as Utah will take on Idaho tomorrow to complete the series. And then they'll be in Jacksonville next week facing 4 former Grizzlies, Travis Howe, Parker Gahagan, Luke Martin, and Hunter Skinner. Remember, the Grizzlies played Jacksonville in a 3-game series at Maverick Center last February. Well, Utah looking for their 3rd straight victory, but it was Idaho that got on the board. We'll go over some of the roster moves if you joined us late that happened over the last week. But Idaho got on the board first as A.J. White was on the right side. Kawaguchi was skating down the middle. White was able to get the pass to connect over to Kawaguchi, who made a nice move on Trent Miner and found the back of the net for the 4th time this season. There was a Grizzly that dove in front of A.J. White to try to pick off the pass, but White somehow was able to get the pass through to Kawaguchi. And at that point, Idaho led 1-0. 17 seconds later, Christian Simeone got Utah on the board. Puck ended up with Adam Scheel, and he had the puck in the crease, and he bounced it off the end wall behind him, and it squirted quickly over to the left side. Simeone was just right there, and he just threw it in, into the back of the net. It was just one of those, thank you, sir, may I have another type of things. And so Simeone, who had 5 goals in 55 games last year, lights the lamp for the first time this season, and just like that, 17 seconds after Kawaguchi made it 1-0, Simeone tied it up. About 29 seconds later, 2:16 into the first period, Zane Franklin picks up his 5th of the year. And that was kind of one of those, he was in the left circle. He was all alone. And he just fired it over Trent Miner's right shoulder. It didn't look like didn't look like he had much room to get it through, but somehow he was able to get it in. And Miner, he did what he had, he did what he could do, and lifting his shoulder up, trying to take away that angle, but somehow he just threaded it in there, did Zane Franklin, getting his 5th of the year. Owen Hedrick with an assist. Time of that goal, 2:16 in, and that came roughly 29 seconds after Simeone had scored for Utah. But 17 seconds after Zane Franklin made it 2-1, Johnny Walker got a pass from Kyle Pouncey, and the pass connected right about the Utah offensive blue line. Walker just skated in with a breakaway, and, you give Johnny a little bit of room. He's proven that he's got a pretty good shot. He was Arizona State's all-time leading goal scorer, as well as their leading point scorer. And I know Arizona State's a little bit of a newer program, but Johnny, over the last 11 games, has really shown an ability to find the back of the net. So he's got 6 goals in his last 11 games, with this being the 11th. And that made it a 2-2 game. Right now, Walker's goal is listed as unassisted, but I believe the pass was from Kyle Pouncey, and it went straight from Pouncey to Walker, unless it got redirected by a Steelhead stick. We'll have to see a replay to confirm or deny that. But I think Pouncey should get an assist, as he threw the pass to Johnny Walker, and then Johnny skated in and pretty much had a breakaway from the offensive blue line in, and was able to get his 6th of the year. And so you're thinking, what crazy game is this going to be? Is this going to be like the Seattle Kraken LA Kings game from a few days ago, where the final score was 9-8? Are we going to have one of those type of games? But that was all the scoring in the first period. Idaho had a couple power plays in the first. Corey Thomas got an interference minor, 3:40 in, and Andrew Nelson got a slashing minor, 9:51 in. And it looked like it still had a couple looks there on the power play, but the Grizzlies' penalty kill really looked strong. Grizzlies had a pretty good penalty kill on Sunday against Trois Rivières. They only had one penalty kill that day, but they were strong in the first 2 penalty kills here this evening. Idaho's power play, 25% on the season. Grizzlies' penalty kill, 78.6%. But it seems like over the last couple weeks, the Grizzlies' penalty kill has come up big. And so Idaho's 0 for 2 on the power play. Grizzlies yet to go on the power play. Shots in the first period, Idaho had 15, 3 of them by Colton Keller, 2 by Ryan Domowski, and then a bunch of other guys with 1 shot, including the goal scorers Jordan Kawaguchi and Zane Franklin. As for the Grizzlies, they took 7 shots in the first period. No one had more than 1 shot. Simeone and Walker's 1 shot each found the back of the net, as Neil Robinson, Johnny Walker are each a +1 for the Grizzlies this evening. It'll be interesting to see what happens here in the second, and who's going to have that lead heading into the third, as the Grizzlies are hanging strong. And we talked about in the pregame show, we'll talk with Guy Carenza here in a couple minutes, but in the pregame show, we talked about all the players the Grizzlies have recently lost to AHL call-ups. And obviously, we salute and we congratulate every player who gets an AHL call-up, as after all, that's good for their career. And, you think about just today, Cameron Wright, who leads the Grizzlies in shots on goal, and he's got 2 goals and 11 assists in his last 11 games. Wright was called up to the AHL's Colorado Eagles this past Tuesday. Zach Sekos, who was outstanding in the Trois Rivières series, he leads Utah with 8 goals this season. He was called up to the AHL. That same day, Andrew Nelson was loaned to San Diego. I know some fans get a little bit confused with that. They go, wait a minute, isn't Colorado the Grizzlies affiliate? Why is Nelson playing for San Diego? Well, Nelson's got an ECHL contract, which essentially makes you an AHL free agent. So you get off to the kind of start that Nelson had this year, 2 goals and 16 assists, with most of them coming on the power play. Any AHL team could pick him up, and San Diego did. Nelson played in 1 game with San Diego, which was on Wednesday, coincidentally enough, against the Grizzlies' AHL affiliate, the Colorado Eagles. But Nelson came back to Utah earlier today. Now, yesterday, the Grizzlies added forward Vladislav Mikhalchuk. He had 1 shot in the first period. He's kind of a lanky forward, about 6'3", maybe 6'4", and 185 pounds. He previously played with Adirondack 12 games this season. Last year was with Jacksonville, and 2 years ago was with the Wheeling Nailers. So you think about all the guys the Grizzlies have lost to AHL call-ups. We mentioned Sekos and Wright earlier this week. Last week, Taron Pfizer, who's got 7 goals this season, he was sent to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. He had an AHL contract with Colorado. Brandon Cutler, who had an ECHL contract, he was loaned to Belleville. I think it was on Thanksgiving that he was loaned to Belleville. He's played in a few games with the Senators. And then earlier in November, Ben Tardif, Nate Klerman were each called up to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. And Kyle Betts was loaned to Belleville, and he's still in Belleville. He hasn't played in a while. I think he's got an injury that he's recovering from. But you think about all those players. I think right now, Nelson did come back, but you're thinking about 6 forwards and 1 defenseman who have played in at least 2 games for the Grizzlies, and they're all up in the AHL. That's 2 forward. That's 2 legitimately good forward lines that are right now in the AHL. And so it's an opportunity for other guys to step up, and it's great to see here in the first period Christian Simeone with a goal and Johnny Walker as well. Guys like that really stepping up and playing well. I think Keaton Jamison's really picked it up over the last few games as well. It's kind of disappointing that Cam Strong appears to be out with an injury. He would be in there because the Grizzlies right now have 3 defensemen by trade who are playing forward. Bryson Martin, Jordan Stone, and Joey Kulatarcher each playing forward tonight for the Grizzlies. But it is great when you see those opportunities, when you see a lot of guys get called up to the AHL, and it's great to see those guys get those opportunities. And it's also great to see guys like Christian Simeone step up and play a bigger role and play well, as they did in the first period here against Idaho. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard in a few minutes as they show it on Flow Sports. Looks like the Fuel and Tulsa are tied at 3 in the second intermission. Tulsa's off to a .500 start this season. Grizzlies are right now tied for 4th in the Mountain Division with an even .500 points percentage, which is tied with Tulsa and Rapid City, as Tulsa is 6-4 this year. Rapid City and Utah are both 8-8. We'll go over scores involving Mountain Division teams later on in the first intermission. But I'm joined by Guy Carenza here, sitting high atop section 114, as it looks like we got another adult men's league game that's going to get started out in front of us, as we're having some fun watching the Flow Sports feed. And Guy, what a crazy first 3 minutes. It's almost like the stat sheet and just about everything else couldn't keep track of just all the goals that were being scored.
Oh, Tyson, it's unbelievable. I think there were at least 2 goals on the board before they even got the clock rolling. Yeah. And it seems like whoever was working the stat sheet quit for a minute, had to rethink their life for a second.
They rage quit?
Yeah, they rage quit, and they were like, all right, well, I guess I better come back. But that was a crazy start. But I really love the way that the Grizzlies responded to Idaho's goals. Okay, it's like Idaho, bang, 1-0. Okay, well, and we talked about in the open, could the Grizzlies capitalize on their chances? Well, Christian Simeone did. He got handed a gift by Shield, and he said, thank you very much, and put it in the back of the net. And then, again, Idaho comes back, scores. And the Grizzlies say, oh, okay. And then they just throw an outlet pass to Johnny Walker. He goes down and scores. So I love the way that they responded to Idaho getting on the board.
Well, I think about some of the key factors. I always think about momentum changes in a hockey game, and those first couple shifts after a goal gets scored, either for you or against you, are going to be critical. If you're the one that scored that goal, you want to keep the momentum going. If you're the team that allowed that goal, how do you get the momentum back? I think about Idaho scoring, they scored 130 in with Kawaguchi, and then Simeone scored 17 seconds later. Franklin scores 2:16 in, and 17 seconds later, Walker scores. As 4 goals were scored in the span of 1 minute and 3 seconds. That's all the scoring so far tonight. But think about the high-powered Steelheads offense. I think the other thing that stood out in that first period, the Grizzlies were on the penalty kill twice, and I don't really remember Idaho getting a really good look on either of their power plays.
Yeah, the Grizzlies' penalty kill has been awesome so far in this game, and we talked about the special teams. Idaho's got great special teams. They're 3rd in both categories. And so could Grizzlies stay disciplined? Well, no, they take 2 penalties here, but it's fine because they kill them off. And I think that shows how good their core is on that penalty kill. And I think a big part of that is Connor McDonald. Him coming back, and it's great to see him back. I'm glad that he didn't suffer too bad of an injury, and he was able to come back after just missing 1 game. That's fantastic to see. But it's really good to see him come back and have a presence. If he comes back and maybe it's a limited role, no, Connor McDonald was out there blocking shots, making great plays as usual as the captain of this team. So it was interesting to see him come back and for the penalty kill to really thrive against a strong Idaho power play.
Seemed like Trent Miner there in the middle portion of the first period. A lot of rebounds, but it seemed like he got his rebound control under control there late in the first period. There was a couple looks there where Idaho had a guy out in front of the net, and if Miner would have allowed a rebound, it could have turned into a goal, but Trent was able to catch him cleanly. I think both goaltenders, it seemed like, really settled in after after that crazy minute 3-second stretch where both teams scored twice. It seems like both goaltenders are really settled in here.
Yeah, Tyson, it took him a little bit to get settled into this game here. But, the thing with Trent is it seems like he needs a few shots to get settled into the game. And, he got a few shots, and then he really did settle into the game. And we talked about it, how big of a role he was going to play in this game. And he's one of the keys to the Grizzlies' successes. If he's on his A game, the Grizzlies have a chance. And right now it looks like after a little bit of a shaky start, he's on his A game.
I'm always notorious for forgetting about who my pick to click is. I think on Twitter, let's see, did I even mention a pick to click on Twitter? I didn't. It was Keaton Jamison. I was thinking maybe Johnny Walker because of his ability to score goals, and he scored a goal. I forgot who your pick to click was.
I think I had Dakota Raby.
Yeah, you went with Raby. I know we had a few picks for Kyle Pouncey. I think Pouncey should get an assist on that Walker goal, unless the Steelhead, got a stick in the way and redirected the pass. But it looked like Pouncey threw that outlet pass all the way out to Walker, who had a breakaway. And really, with all those forwards we talked about in the AHL, you think about forwards that step up for the Grizzlies. I mean, Johnny Walker kind of is turning into one of the constants with 6 goals in his last 11 games.
Yeah, Johnny's had yet another solid outing, and it seems like if he's not scoring goals, he's making physical plays. So I think it's good to see him scoring goals, because usually when he makes some more physical plays, he ends up in the penalty box, some for good reasons, some for not.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's good to see Johnny on his A game here, and I think the story so far is the Idaho Steelheads are out shooting the Grizzlies. I mean, they have two power plays, to add to that total, but I think they're dominating the possession, but the Grizzlies are capitalizing on their chances, something we didn't see them do last time they saw the Steelheads. So I think this is in the Grizzlies' favor because they are capitalizing on those chances.
Second period will begin here shortly. Some other scores involving Mountain Division opponents. Indy and Tulsa are tied at 3. That game 3 minutes into the third period. Looks like Eddie Matsushima had a penalty shot and scored in the first period. Matsushima was one of the best forwards in the month of November, and he's certainly a candidate to go to the All-Star game in mid-January. That game tied at 3, early third period. 13 minutes to go in the third. Kansas City leads Wichita 2-1. You're talking about two teams that are off to good starts. Kansas City is 8-6-1, and Wichita is 8-6-2. Got a crazy one over at Credit Union of Texas Event Center. 12 minutes left in the third period. Allen leads Rapid City 5-4. As it looks like Jack Combs has scored twice for the Americans. Liam Finley has also found the back of the net. For Rapid City, Logan Nelson, Calder Brooks, and Rory Cairns each have goals, as does Robertson. And Danil Chechelev is in net for Rapid City. He has stopped 20 of 25. Logan Flodell for Allen has stopped 32 of 36. That game, 12 minutes left in the third period. Allen leads 5-4. We'll go over some other scores from the league. Let's see if Jacksonville played tonight. South Carolina defeated Jacksonville 3-2. Remember, later on this road trip, the Grizzlies are going to take on the Jacksonville Icemen. We have 4 former Grizzlies on their roster. Travis Howell did not get a penalty minute. He's one of those guys. He can drop the gloves at the drop of a hat. Looks like Luke Martin, the former Grizzly, had 1 assist and was a +1. Hunter Skinner had 1 assist. We'll see him as well. Skinner played for the Grizzlies a couple years ago. Parker Gahagan was in net for Jacksonville, and he got the loss, stopping 25 of 28. Wall, the appropriately named goaltender for South Carolina, stopped 36 of 38. At halftime of the Pac-12 championship game, Utah and USC are tied at 17. The winner wins the Pac-12. For Utah, it's probably a Rose Bowl berth. For USC, if they win, they're most likely headed for the college football playoffs. Now, it looks like we're about set to start second period action over at Idaho Central Arena, as we're tied at 2. All 4 of the goals were scored in the stretch of 1 minute and 3 seconds. It'll be interesting to see who ends up getting a lead after 2 periods, because Idaho, in particular, in their own barn, is outstanding at protecting leads. So can the Grizzlies find a way to get a lead after 2? It's obviously going to be tough with the Grizzlies missing as many forwards as they have, but let's see what happens here in the middle frame. Draws at center ice, and it's won by the Grizzlies. Utah skating from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports. In your mind's eye, see it on YouTube. As a puck deep in the Steelhead zone, turnover. Grizzlies righty shot, and that one goes wide. And somehow deflects out of play. Boy, the puck ended up squirting out in front of the net, and Tyler Penner had a one-timer and just somehow missed it as it bounced off of Shield and goes out of play. 14 seconds into the second period, Grizzlies had the first good look. of this second frame. That's our 8th shot on goal. As the draw is going to be in the left circle. Penner will take it. He's got Robinson to his left and Johnny Walker to his right. Draw one by Idaho over in the left corner. Walker delivers a hit. Penner skates over there as Penner hacking away. Now another Steelhead goes over there, and Svanenberg feeds it to the left circle, kept in. Right side, McDonald with a shot that goes, it gets blocked. And it gets blocked by Shield, and the puck goes out to center ice. As McDonald feeds it over to Nielsen, Andrew will toss it to the right side. Pass connects. Johnny Walker skates in, takes a shot, and that one goes wide. Shield might have gotten a stick on it as the puck glides along the near side. Now Penner will feed it off the end wall. Grizzlies get pushed in the corner, and that's Robinson in the area. Walker over towards Keaton Jamison. Left wing shot. Kick saved by Shield. Puck rolls along the far boards and goes out to center ice. Corey Thomas gets it back towards Pouncey. He'll throw it to neutral ice. Now it's Michalchuk on the left side. He'll dump it in. Michalchuk in his Grizzlies debut wearing number 25. Puck around the Idaho net towards the right corner as the Steelheads battling, trying to clear their zone. Puck stays in. Jamison throws it up top. Utah gets to Bartley in the high slot. Lefty shot, saved by Shield. Rebound goes out of play off the protective netting, but the Grizzlies ultra aggressive here in the first minute 18 of the second period as the action has been in the Steelhead zone almost exclusively here so far in the first minute 18 of the second. Good job by the Grizzlies coming out strong here in the start of the second period. First of a 2-game set. Idaho is 7-1 at home this season. The only loss that the Steelheads have had at Idaho Central Arena was to the hands of the Grizzlies, who won 2-1 on October 28th. Utah wins the draw as Bartley in the left point fires a shot, stick saved by Shield, and the puck flies out of play over on the far side as a fan gets a souvenir. Draw's going to be back in the Idaho zone as the Grizzlies, really, I think the big thing about keeping the puck in the offensive zone is winning faceoffs. The Grizzlies have done a good job on the faceoff circle here tonight. Keaton Jamison will take the draw. He's got Dakota Raby, who was a runner-up for the league's Player of the Week award, and Vladislav Michalchuk out there. Draw one by Utah. Raby with a shot, saved by Shield. Rebound out to the far side, taken by Owen Hedrick, who skates around his net. Now feed it ahead. Steelheads throw a left wing pass as they enter the zone. But it looked like it was delayed offside as they couldn't handle it. Now Bartley gets it in the near side for Utah. He'll throw it out of the screen, out to the left side, deep into the Steelhead zone. Shield behind his net will throw it to the near side. Idaho spreads the ice as they skate along the near wall. They throw it out to the right side. It bounced off of Thomas's stick as the Grizzlies will lift it out towards center ice past Domowski and deep into the Idaho zone. No icing as Idaho skates around their goaltender's net as it over to the near corner, taken away by Michalchuk. He'll drop it off along the near boards. Now up top for Thomas. He'll take a lefty shot. Saved by Shield. Rebound goes out to Idaho. Skates around the net. Michalchuk collides with a Steelhead as it goes back to the left point. Grizzlies. Corey Thomas battling with A.J. White. Bounces it off of White. Puck flies high into the air and bounces in the near corner. Taken by Hedrick. He'll wrap it around the boards as Idaho skates from left to right here in the second period. As the Grizzlies run it down. Bounced off of Thomas's stick over to the right side. Idaho in the offensive zone in the corner as they'll throw it back towards Kawaguchi. He tries to feed it up top, but it exits the zone. Steelheads will re-enter as Kanadi skates towards the left circle. He gets knocked down. Oh, that's going to be a penalty on Utah. As the whistle blows, the referee was right there in the area where he could see the play clearly, and Nick Kanadi got knocked down, and Aaron Tho looks up at the video board at center ice at Idaho Central Arena as he skates towards the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. Have you or someone you know been charged with a DUI? Rogers and Russell is Utah's DUI defense firm. Consequences for driving under the influence in Utah are serious, and you need great attorneys on your first line. Look for a letter in the mail from Rogers and Russell inviting you to schedule a free consultation. Don't throw away or disregard this letter. Call and get Utah's best DUI defense team, Rogers and Russell. Off the draw, Idaho shot saved by Minor. He makes a glove stop 6 seconds into the power play. It's Idaho's third power play of the game. Grizzlies yet to go on the man advantage. A.J. White will take the draw in the right circle. 17:07 left in the second period. We're tied at 2 as Grizzlies win the draw and Connor McDonald clears it out. All 4 of the goals were scored early in the first period in the stretch of a minute, 3 seconds. Idaho will start the attack like a tribe of pigs. Skating from left to right as Dawson Bardo skates down the middle. Right wing pass to Franklin. Now up top for Register. He'll get it to the left side, just outside the circle. Now back up top for Register. Register will ricochet it to the near corner. Steelheads couldn't handle it. Bartley around the net. Victor will bounce it off the near glass. Bardo tried to keep it in, but it goes past him all the way deep into the Steelhead zone. 40 seconds into the power play as we're tied at 2. Idaho gets it out to center ice, left wing. They enter the zone. Now they'll feed it up top to Bardo. He'll take a righty shot. And glove saved by Minor. Trent holds on. He's really gotten off to a good start here tonight after giving up the 2 early as Trent takes off his helmet and gets some water. 1:11 left in the Steelheads power play as we're still tied at 2. Trent's displayed a really good glove over the last couple games, especially last Sunday in the 30-save shutout against the Trois-Rivières Lions. He's got 9 career professional shutouts, 8 with the Grizzlies. He had 1 with Colorado late in the 2020-2021 season, as he was just completing up a career with the Vancouver Giants of the WHL. As the draw goes between the Idaho defensemen and goes deep into the Steelhead zone, Idaho runs it down in their own zone. Halfway through their 3rd power play of the game, right wing pass over to Keller. Now back to Pelton Bice. Now up top for Hedrick. They'll feed it to the left point. Now back to Hedrick. He skates towards his right. Throws into the high slot. Bice back to Hedrick. They'll feed it to the right corner. Now back up top, looking for Pelton Bice. It bounced off his stick and rolls towards the far side. He chases it down, spins it along the wall. Goes back to Domowski on the near side as he's being challenged by Fitz. He gets it back to the corner. Now up top for Hedrick as he'll feed it to Pelton Bice. Now to the left circle as Idaho will skate towards their right. That's Keller back to Bice. I try to chip it out in front. It glanced off the stick and goes out to neutral ice. 20 seconds left in the Idaho power play. They cross center ice. Keller will nudge it ahead. Now looking back for Keller on the give and go. Utah takes it away. Puck is off the screen as the Grizzlies clear it all the way out towards Adam Scheel. He'll feed it to the far side as nudging it ahead. The Steelheads still back in their own zone. Late in the power play as they get it to neutral ice, they'll throw it ahead. Idaho enters the zone left side. They'll skate towards the corner. Pouncey poked it away. We're back to even strength. Good penalty kill again by the Grizzlies. Now around the net, the Steelheads skate towards the corner as they get challenged by McDonald. Connor holds up Idaho, and taking the puck is Aaron Tho. He'll skate towards the far side. Now Tho gets it back around from McDonald. Connor along the near wall, loses the puck. Idaho up top on the left side. They're in the offensive zone. They get it to White. AJ skates towards the far boards as he around the corner, throws it up top for Brady. He'll take a righty shot. That one goes wide as he tried to go stick side on Minor. As over on the left side, Idaho back in the slot, righty shot. Saved by Minor. Rebound goes to Utah, clears it all the way out. Looks like it's going to be icing as the whistle blows with 14:31 left in the second period. Good penalty kill by the Grizzlies as they are now 3 for 3 tonight against the high-powered power play of Idaho. Steelheads came into play tonight with a 25% power play clip. But the Grizzlies' penalty kills look pretty strong here so far tonight. Draw's going to be in the left circle of the Grizzlies zone. 5.5 minutes into the second period. Draw won by Utah's Connor McDonald. Skates towards the far side to lift it in the air. And it looks like another icing on Utah's. The arm is raised by the linesman. And we'll head back down towards Trent Minor with 14:23 left in the second period. Don't forget the Grizzlies team store is going to be open every game day. In fact, the jacket I'm wearing right now, I got at the Grizzlies team store. You can see me wearing it right here on YouTube. As Ryan Kanaswich on the Grizzlies bench, wearing a nice suit. As the draw is going to be over in the left circle. Make sure you go to the team store. I told Guy that he needs to go get a hat. And so he's going to get a hat at the Grizzlies next home game. He's going to get a jacket that might be just like this one. So we'll go to the team store here later on. And it's great for holiday shopping. You know, get your loved one Grizzlies gear for the holiday season. And you'll be the best uncle or best dad or best whatever because you're the one that brought Grizzlies gear to the family. As the puck is over to the right side, lefty shot. That one gets blocked in front of Minor. Grizzlies get it. They've outshot the Steelheads 6-2 in the second period. As Connor McDonald crosses center ice and dumps it in. Idaho skating from left to right. Long-range pass connects. Left circle, shot. And puck ended up looking like it squirted past Minor. Referee was not in a position to make the call. Boy, Trent didn't get that cleanly. Idaho thinks that they had scored a goal. Grizzlies looked like the puck ended up clearing out. Right now it's a 2-2 game with 13:54 left in the second period. Wouldn't surprise me if that gets reviewed as the whistle blew, maybe prematurely. We're back in 1 minute. This is Utah Grizzlies hockey, presented by Mountain Land Supply Company.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
We're tied at 2. They showed a replay of that last shot, and it looked like it bounced off a minor, got to the goal line, hugged the post, and the Grizzlies were able to clear it out. So we stay tied at 2 as the Steelheads win the draw. Shot goes wide as Grizzlies. Victor Bartley skates towards the far side, and he'll fire it out towards center ice. And it looked like it goes out of play, and the fan gets a souvenir over in row 1. Was it a delay of game, or did it bounce off the glass? And it looks like there's no penalty on the Grizzlies. There's 13:44 left in the second period. We're tied at 2. The Grizzlies have outshot the Steelheads 6-3 so far in the second period. But Idaho does have a 19-13 edge on shots as Utah wins the draw. Grizzlies throw it to the near side for Raby. He skates from right to left, bounced off his stick. Goes back to Bardo as Dawson Bardo will pitch it out towards center ice. It bounced off the near wall and goes back to Victor Bartley, who's about 10 feet in front of Trent Miner. They'll throw it to the near side for Nilsson, who nudges ahead, and it gets picked off by Svanenberg. It gets spun around by Raby. Puck at neutral ice near the center ice logo. Grizzlies dump it in. Does Vladislav Mikhalchuk in his Grizzlies debut, the Belarus native. Idaho skates into the left side. They get hit. Good hit by Victor Bartley as a puck along the far side. Turnover, left circle, backhand shot. Kick save by Miner. Rebound goes to Mikhalchuk. He'll skate along the far side. He'll nudge it to center ice where it's taken back by a Steelhead. Now Bardo will nudge it ahead as the Steelheads going with 12 forwards, 5 defensemen tonight. Right side shot. Glove save by Miner. That was taken by Jack Becker. He's got 2 goals this season. He played at Michigan for 4 years and was a teammate of Dakota Rabies. Last season at Arizona State, he was a teammate with Johnny Walker. Becker skates off the ice. He's got 2 goals this season. One of them against Utah. 12:53 left in the second period. We're tied at 2. Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Ty Pelton-Bice will take it for Idaho. And for Utah, it's Tyler Penner. Draw won by Idaho as Domowski throws it up top. High slot, righty shot. That gets blocked by Miner and goes towards the far corner. Puck around the net as Thomas cuts it off in the near corner. He gets hit by Domowski. Thomas hit Domowski up high, but luckily the official didn't make the call. Is over towards the near side. Grizzlies getting out towards center ice. Johnny Walker dumps it in. He got blasted by Colton Keller near the Grizzlies bench as the Steelheads get the puck deep in their own zone, skating from left to right. Walker back to his feet as he'll skate towards neutral ice. And now the Grizzlies take it away. Grizzlies get it back to Walker on the right. Now I tried to feed it across, but the puck bounced off the near boards. Back to Walker behind the net. He skates towards the corner. He'll nudge it to Penner. Tyler, who's got a goal in back-to-back games. Back to Walker. He's picked up a first-period goal. He's got 6 this season. Faked it to Thomas. Now the puck exits the zone. Walker back at center ice. Will throw it ahead. Puck still at neutral ice. Now Idaho picks it off. Pelton-Bice enters the zone. Feeds it over to the left side. Shot and a score. And the Steelheads have taken a 3-2 lead as Ryan Domowski gets his 12th goal of the season. The Mouse is in the house at Idaho Central Arena as he's now got a goal in 8 different games this season as the Steelheads have taken a 3-2 lead. It was just one of those where the puck was in the slot and then Ty Pelton-Bice saw Domowski on the left side, just dropped it off for him, and Domowski was all alone and put plenty of a shot that went high on Trent Miner. As he starts the celebration with Owen Hedrick, as the Steelheads have taken a 3-2 lead. Domowski, a native of East Lyme, Connecticut. As he's got his 12th goal of the season, draw at center ice with the Steelheads leading 3-2. 11:54 left in the second. Pelton-Bice is going to get an assist on that. Now turnover. Grizzlies in the offensive zone. Throw it towards the near boards. Righty shot saved by Shield. Puck around the net to the right side as Idaho will lift it in the air. It goes out to center ice. Now the Steelheads. Right side try to skate in. Murphy gets it poked away as it goes to the corner. Nielsen delivers a big hit on Murphy as the puck rolls back towards the left point. Steelheads keep it in as they skate towards their right. Now they're in the slot. Utah pokes it away as Utah gets to center ice, and that's Fitz, but he tried to reach for it, and Idaho at center ice dumped it back in deep in the Grizzlies zone. Utah will feed it out to the far side as it goes to center ice. Utah tried to poke it across. Idaho picked it up. Now Utah gets it on the right side. Grizzlies skate in. Fitz with a shot. And he scores! Fitz gets his third of the year as he skated along the right side and got it past Adam Schill. And just like that, we're tied at 3. Fitz high fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench, and Guy and I talked about it. The first couple shifts after a goal gets scored, what happens? The Grizzlies get the momentum back in the hockey game. As Christian Simeone was skating down the middle, Simeone got double teamed. I think they were anticipating Fitz to make the pass, and Fitz was left all alone as he skated towards the right circle. Seems like a lot of goals Dylan Fitz gets scored that same way, where he just skates down the middle on the right side and just skates straight and finds a lane and gets a shot. And he now has 3 goals this season. Steelheads win the draw. They throw it into the Grizzly zone. Now Bartley gets it back as he'll throw it to center ice for Raby. He'll feed it to the corners. We're tied at 3. Puck goes back towards Raby. He's in the corner with McCallchuck as Keaton Jameson's over there as well. Raby throws it over to the right point. Grizz feed it across to Bartley. Victor drops off from McCallchuck. He swings and misses on a righty shot. Now Idaho comes back up with it. 2-on-2. They enter the zone. Steelheads left circle. Shot. Glove saved by Minor. Trent holds on with 10:34 left in the second, and after the whistle, Colton Keller has some words with McCallchuck. Zane Franklin, actually, it was Pouncey in the area. Franklin's the guy that will mix it up from time to time, as Franklin's sporting a beard. Has a word or two with Vladislav McCallchuck. Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. And, Guy and I talked about it. What happens after you allow a goal? What's going to happen those first couple shifts? Well, Idaho scored with Domowski. The time of that goal was 8:06 into the second period, with Ty Pelton-Bice getting the assist less than a minute later. In fact, to do some math on the air, 47 seconds after Domowski scored, Dylan Fitz found the back of the net. So the Grizzlies getting that momentum back as we're tied at 3. Draws in the Grizzlies zone. About halfway through the scheduled 60 minutes, Utah has goals from Christian Simeone, Johnny Walker, and Dylan Fitz. Idaho's got goals from Jordan Kawaguchi, Zane Franklin, and Ryan Domowski. Becker will take the draw against Penner, as there's 10:34 left in the second. Trent Minor crouches down in front of the crease. The draw is won by Idaho. They'll throw it up top as Matt Register, left point, lefty shot. Saved by Minor. Collision out in front of Minor. As Aaron Tho in the area, so is Ty Pelton-Bice. The puck rolls along the far boards. Grizzlies clear it out to center, where it's taken back. Becker comes off the ice, so it looks like he's hurt. As the trainer checks over him, it looks like he's got a towel on his face. As the puck deep in the Steelhead zone, Idaho will nudge it ahead towards Bice. Now they'll feed it to their own goal line for Brady. He gets hit behind the net, gets back to his feet, throws it to the near side. As the Steelhead skating from left to right, will drop it off at center ice in the right wing. Svanenberg dumps it in as it rolls around the wall. There's a stick laying about 10 feet in front of Minor. As the Steelhead skate towards the right corner, they get hit and get knocked down. Grizzlies nudge it ahead to Fitz. Dylan will ricochet it off the near boards. It goes to Robinson. Robinson left circle. It takes a shot. On it goes wide as he tried to go stick side on Shield. Now Idaho gains the offensive line, tries to drop it off. Pass goes wide. Now Fitz gains the line. As he's over to the right side in the corner. I tried to feather a centering pass. It goes to the left side. Grizzlies make a line change. Puck in the Grizzly zone. Utah has it. They feed it over to the far side. Grizzlies gain the blue line and fire it in, but it looks like it ricocheted and goes out of play. Dylan Fitz in the area as he kind of looks over things. As there's a timeout on the ice. 9:22 left in the second period. We're tied at 3. This is Grizzlies hockey, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. 9:22 left in the second period. We're tied at 3. Score was tied at 2. Heading into the second period, Ryan Domowski gave Idaho a 3-2 lead, 8:06 in. 47 seconds later, Dylan Fitz unassisted, 8:53 in. Utah is 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Idaho's 0 for 3 on the power play. Grizzlies yet to go on the man advantage. Shots in the second period, Utah's outshot Idaho 8-7 as Nilsson throws a centering pass out in front. It's picked off by Nick Canati. Steelheads in their own zone, skating from left to right as we see it on Flow Sports. Your mind's eye see it on YouTube as it goes out to center ice. Bryson Martin will nudge it back. Martin playing forward tonight instead of his defensive role. He's got a point in 3 of his last 4 games. He'll throw it to the near side for Dylan Fitz, who scored earlier in the second period. Looking for Nilsson. Passes wide of the mark as Idaho will feed it back to the Utah blue line. Grizzlies gather it. McDonald throws it ahead to Simeone, who dumps it in. Schill will watch it bounce off the end wall, and he'll toss it to a defenseman. Steelheads with a long-range pass to the left connects as they'll dump it into the corner. Chasing after it's Kyle Pouncey as well as McDonald, and the puck ends up in the left circle. McDonald nudges it ahead. It bounced off a Steelhead stick. Goes to the right side, Domowski, who's got 12 goals this season, including 1 in the second period. Throws it up top for Hedrick. He'll bounce it off a Grizzlies stick. Utah gets it. 3-on-3. Grizzlies enter the zone, skate down the middle, and it rolls towards Adam Schill. As Utah was in the area, and it looked like it was Michalchuk skating down the middle. He got back checked and got spun around a little bit as the puck ended up rolling towards Adam Schill. No call was made. Michalchuk was skating down the middle, and it was registered kind of a side check and poked it away from Michalchuk, and the puck ended up rolling towards Adam Schill, who covered it up. 8:11 was left in the second. We're tied at 3. Draw is going to be in the left circle. Keaton Jamison will take the draw. Jamison's got 2 goals and 1 assist in 15 games coming into play tonight. 6 feet, 190 pounds. Draw won by Utah. Dakota Raby looking for a shot. It bounces off of Hedrick and goes to the near corner. Grizzlies throw it up top. It's picked off by Idaho. Steelheads 2-on-2 cross center ice. Murphy gains the line. He veers off to the left. He's now in the left point. As he'll feed it around the boards. Utah cuts it off behind the net as they skate towards the near corner. White centers it, and Utah takes it away. Grizz skate from right to left as they feed it past Raby as it bounces off the near boards. Grizz make a line change as Hedrick will feed it around to Register. He's on the far side. He'll throw it to his right. As the Steelheads cross center ice, they'll nudge it to the right and as it bounces off the near wall. Grizzlies pitch it back out to center ice. Walker drops it off for Robinson. Neal skates towards the left circle, takes a shot, saved by Schill. Actually might have gone wide as it rolls along the far boards. Grizzlies regather it at neutral ice as Penner dumps it in. She'll try to cut it off, but it rolls along towards the far side boards as Register back around to the near side. Grizzlies' Tyler Penner will throw it ahead. Robinson gets it back over. Left side shot goes wide. Puck along the far side. Penner in the area. He gets hit by White as the Steelheads come up with the puck. Right wing pass to neutral ice. Bounces off of Zane Franklin. Or did it? McDonald skates after it. Icing is on the Steelheads. So Franklin didn't get a piece of it with 6:59 left in the second. He didn't argue the call, so it must have been a good call as there's less than 7 minutes left in the second period. It seemed like both Nilsson and Fitz had a word for Franklin as he was skating towards the Steelhead zone. It's an interesting one here tonight as the Steelheads have been on fire with a record of 13-2, 0-1. Grizzlies won 2 in a row. They've got an 8-8 record. Utah's 5-3 on the road. Steelheads are outstanding at home. Idaho wins the faceoff, and they lift it out to center ice. It bounces at neutral ice. Simeone will throw it back to Nilsson as Andrew throws it to the far side. Grizzlies get it to center ice looking for Bryson Martin. That pass goes wide. Steelheads gain the offensive line. Left circle, lefty shot. Saved by Minor. Rebound goes out towards the near boards. As Niram looks to center it, Utah picks it off, and that's Connor McDonald, who's always in the right place at the right time. Over in the corner, Niram takes it away from Nils. Now left circle shot. Oh, that goes wide on a one-timer. Now Brady right side shot, and that gets blocked about 5 feet in front of Minor. Bit of a collision. Minor gets a stick back. Grizzlies get it out to center ice and dump it in. Martin chasing after Idaho as they've got the puck skating from left to right. Idaho, right wing cross to center ice. Now Bardo skates towards the right circle. It takes a righty shot, saved by Minor. Rebound out to the left side as the Steelheads throw it up top for Bardo. He'll get it to the right side. One-timer. That goes wide and deflects out of play. 5:59 left in the second period. Grizzlies and Steelheads are tied at 3. During the second intermission, we'll talk with Guy Karenzu sitting by me here high atop Section 114 at Maverick Center. We'll get his thoughts on what he has seen through the first 2 periods. As the Grizzlies are really hung in there strong. We talked about during the intermission and the pregame show about all the forwards that have been sent to the AHL. It looks like the Grizzlies have a penalty as Dylan Fitz is in the box. That's the 4th penalty by the Grizzlies. Idaho's yet to commit a penalty. Now, Fitz is pleading his case with the linesman. But, it looks like the Grizzlies are going to be on the penalty kill once again. As we're late here in the second period, less than 6 minutes left. It's game 1 of 5 straight on the road. Now, don't forget the Grizzlies return to Maverick Center December 17th. That's going to be a Saturday night. That's 15 days from now. And it's going to be a big night. You think about it being the teddy bear toss night. Everybody bring a couple teddy bears to throw on the ice after Utah's first goal. Test your arm strength out. See how close you can get to the center ice logo. Or maybe you can make your target the Bud Light sign over there in the offensive zone, just out, just inside the blue line. Can you get it close to the Coca-Cola sign? Test your arm strength out with the teddy bear toss. And the teddy bears are going to go to charity, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Teddy bear toss night going to be on December 17th, and it's also going to be ugly sweater night. Usually I wear an ugly sweater most nights anyway, but it's going to be ugly sweater night. Grizzlies are going to be wearing specialty jerseys for the occasion. Fitz is in the box for 2 minutes. We're back to live action. Left side. Lefty shot by Bice is blocked as Idaho was able to win the faceoff. As the Steelheads throw it over to the high slot. Hedrick with a shot, and it goes wide as it rolls along the far wing boards. Idaho in the left corner. Wraps it around. It gets cut off along the near side as Domowski gets hit by Raby. Domowski throws it up top for Hedrick. Now across to Kanadi. Back to Hedrick. He'll take a righty shot, saved by Minor. Rebound out in front. Becker with a shot, saved by Minor. Around the net, Domowski will get it up top to Hedrick. Slot, shot, saved by Minor. Rebound goes out towards the near boards. Becker chases after it, as does Raby. Idaho centers it. Utah picks it off and clears it out. Idaho probably with their best looks of their power play time here so far tonight, but Minor was able to make the saves, and the Grizzlies with a big clear out there about halfway through the Idaho power play. Idaho crosses center ice. They'll skate over to the left. They gain the line. Now over towards Franklin. Back to Bardo on the right side. He'll feed it up top to Register. Now to the left side for Franklin. Center pass, shot and a score. And that's Jordan Kawaguchi getting his second of the game as it bounced off of Trent Minor and goes into the back of the net. Kawaguchi getting his 5th goal of the season and second of the game as he high-fives everybody on the Steelheads bench. There's Idaho with the power play goal, and it was just Kawaguchi. It bounced it off the right side of Trent Minor and into the back of the net as he kind of caught Trent maybe leaning towards his left a little bit. So it's the Steelheads 4 and the Grizzlies 3. That's Idaho's first power play goal of the game, as they're now 1 for 4 on the man advantage, 25%, which matches their season total of 25% coming into play tonight. Steelheads lead 4-3. The light show is continuing to go on, but we're back to live action. Grizzlies win the face-off. They skate towards center ice and get knocked down. Does Pouncey. Another Grizzly gets it and dumps it all the way back in. Adam Schill behind his net plays it. As puck ends up rolling along the far boards. Grizzlies battling as they're trying to get momentum back to tie up this game. Idaho gets it out towards center ice. Bouncing puck at the center ice logo. Utah gathers it. Grizzlies get it poked away by Register. And the Steelheads back in their own zone as Wade Murphy will skate towards his left, and he'll feed it off the far boards. Now it goes back to Murphy as he tried to cross center ice, but overskated the puck. McCulchuk hits him. Now the puck goes back to Idaho as they'll feed it towards the right side. As Kawaguchi gets it across, he's now on hat trick watch with 2 goals tonight. As Grizzlies along the far boards get it, and they'll throw it to center ice for Bartley. Victor skates towards his right. He enters the zone. I look to center to bounce off of Colatarchi. He was cutting from the left side as it bounces into the corner. Idaho comes up with it as they'll cross center ice from the right side. Becker will carry it in himself. He'll feed it to Register. Slot, shot, stick saved by Minor. Rebound goes out to the far side. They feed it to the corner. Utah picks it off. Grizzlies Get it to the left side looking for Colatarchi. Near the Grizzlies bench, he backhands it deep into the Steelhead zone. Idaho rolls it back around to the far side to neutral ice. Blue line to blue line pass, and that doesn't connect. Colatarchi skates towards his corner. He gets hit, and he'll throw it ahead. Grizzlies will backhand it to center ice. 2-on-2. Idaho backpedals into their own zone, and they'll outlet it to center ice themselves. Puck near the Grizzlies bench. Utah drives it in as Shield behind his net will feed it towards the far side. Idaho looking for Johnny Walker. Walker over in the battle. Idaho dumps it in. As over in the near corner, Nielsen feeds it around towards McDonald. Connor spins it ahead for Walker. He'll get it to center ice. The Grizzlies dump it in. Chasing after it's Tyler Penner. He collides with a Steelhead in the corner. Less than 3 minutes left in the second period. 4-3 Steelheads. Looking for Walker. Kicked off his skate out to Nielsen. Andrew on the left side, lefty shot. And he scores! Nielsen looks like he redirected it off of Johnny Walker, and the Grizzlies have tied it up. Walker is out in front, and he thinks he has scored his 7th of the season and 2nd of the game. Johnny is fired up as he high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench. Nielsen was in the left point and just kind of feathered a shot out there. Walker believes he redirected it, and it looks like he did. There was also Tyler Penner out in front, but everybody went to Johnny to congratulate him. So Johnny Walker gets the goal. Looks like Ryan Kanaswich was pointing at Tyler Penner. And Johnny, that's a big goal for him as we're tied at 4. As this game is seesawed back and forth. As the Steelheads, it seems like every time they take a 1-goal lead, before long, the Grizzlies end up tying it up. And we're tied at 4 late here in the second period. Puck deep in the Steelheads zone as it rolls towards Bartley. He'll feed it up top for McCallchuck. He'll bounce it off the end wall as action deep in the Steelhead zone. Idaho skates towards the far side, and they try to clear it out. Somehow it stayed in. Grizzlies out in front looking for a pass, and it bounces off a shield as the Steelheads restart their attack. Idaho crosses center ice. They don't have numbers. They skate towards the left circle. Shot saved by Minor. Rebound goes out towards the far corner. Now back to Keller. They'll skate towards his right. He's now along the near boards. Tried to drop it off for Hedrick, but it faked towards him. Now to the left side. Blast. Saved by Minor as the Steelheads over to the left side. They get it to the point. Now up top for Hedrick. He'll feed it to the right side for Murphy, who gets around a skater. Murphy with a shot. Saved by Minor. Rebound goes out to the left side as Idaho will feed it across. Pelton Bice with a one-timer, and Minor makes the save. Trent holds on with 1:39 left in the second. Boy, what a blast by Pelton Bice in the right circle on a one-timer, but great save by Trent Minor. As both teams scored 2 goals in the first, and both have 2 so far in the second period. And like I said, this game is seesawed back and forth. Idaho led 1-0, and then the Grizzlies 17 seconds later tied it up. And Idaho made it 2-1, and about less than 20 seconds later, Grizzlies tied it up. And it was kind of a similar case in the second period, as Idaho had a lead of 3-2 and 4-3, but the Grizzlies each time have been able to answer, register with a shot, and got redirected, and Minor makes a save. Grizzlies up ahead as they'll dump it into the offensive zone. Martin in the far side. I try to get it across. It bounced off a Steelhead. Wade Murphy will throw it back towards the near side. It looks like the puck is out of play. Is that delay of game? If it is, it's Idaho's first penalty of the game. The puck ended up out of play. Wade Murphy flexing his stick, but it doesn't look like delay of game, as Walker gets the goal with Nielsen getting the assist, 17-22 into the second period. So Walker's got 2 goals tonight and 7 on the season. Jordan Kawaguchi has 2 goals for Idaho. Draw in the left circle is won by Utah. McDonald with a shot. Saved by Shield. And he holds on. That was kind of a tricky shot there, as it looked like McDonald threw a changeup at the Idaho goaltender, but Shield was able to make the save with 1:18 left in the second. Draw's going to be in the left circle. Penner will take it for Utah. He's got Johnny Walker to his left. It's Walker's second 2-goal game this season. And the draw won by Utah. Nilsson left side shot, save, rebound shot, saved by Shield. Well, it looked like Nilsson took the shot from the left side, and then Robinson had kind of a backhand shot right in front of the net. And Shield was able to make a good save late in the second period. Ryan Kanaswich checking out the video board as Nilsson was able to get it. And it was actually more of a pass. It wasn't really a shot that bounced off of Shield. It was a pass to Robinson. Great hands by Neil Robinson, and Shield was able to make a great save on really a crafty-looking backhand shot by Robinson. Utah wins the draw. Nilsson will fire a shot that bounces off the stick of Spanenberg's, As it goes back towards the right side, Robinson in the area as it goes towards Bardo. He's in the near side. He'll pitch it out to center ice. As Becker skates down the middle, he'll feed it to the left side. Looking back for Becker on the give and go. It goes to Hedrick. Center pass shot. Saved by Minor. That was Spannenberg's out in front. Out to center ice. Bardo has it. Less than 1 minute left in the second period. He'll skate across center ice. Now gain the line. He gets around a skater. Now looking up top for Hedrick. Puck stayed in the far corner. Utah gathers it. Grizzlies will carry it out to center ice 1-on-3. Raby joins the play, skates in from the left. Now Raby to the right side gets the puck, but somehow he couldn't handle it as the Steelheads throw it out to center ice. Hedrick skates down the middle, drops it off for Becker. Left circle, backhand shot goes wide. Now near him around the net, looking back for Becker. It bounced off his stick. Grizzlies throw it out to center ice, or it's regathered by the Steelheads. They'll back it out into their own zone. They'll feed a long-range pass. And played stopped. 5.4 seconds left in the second period. Looks like the draw is going to come back into the Steelhead zone. We'll go over all the scoring in the first two periods, and we'll also talk with Guy Karenza, and we'll give you an update on the Pac-12 championship game between USC and Utah. Keaton Jamison will take the face-off against Jade Miller. Over in the right circle of the Steelhead zone. Draw one by Idaho. Brady skates around his net as he gets hit by Raby, and time runs out. As we're through 40 minutes over at Idaho Central Arena, both teams scored 2 goals in the first. Both teams scored 2 goals in the second. Jordan Kawaguchi has 2 goals for Idaho. The other goals were scored by Ryan Domowski, who lit the lamp earlier in the second period. Kawaguchi and Zane Franklin each scored in the first period. For the Grizzlies, Johnny Walker's got 2 goals. Christian Simeone, and of course you draw a blank. As the Grizzlies have goals from Simeone and Walker in the first period, and second period goals from Dylan Fitz and Johnny Walker. Can't forget about Dylan Fitz's goal from the right side, as he just kind of very similar to how he scored in a road game against Kansas City, where he just skated down the right side, found himself near the circle, and fired away. Christian Simeone was cutting down the middle. So Simeone and Fitz each have 1 goal tonight, and Johnny Walker has lit the lamp twice. As we've got a good game over at Idaho Central Arena, tied at 4. We'll come back and recap the first 2 periods when we come back. Siegfried and Jensen intermission reports coming up next on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
It's the Siegfried and Jensen intermission report and they're your law firm for accident victims. As we're tied at 4, where it's really been a game that seesawed back and forth. If you joined us late, there were 4 goals in the stretch of 1:03, 2 on each side. Idaho's Jordan Kawaguchi scored 1:30 into the contest with A.J. White getting the assist. 17 seconds later, Christian Simeone scored unassisted for his first of the year. Simeone had 5 goals in 55 games last season. Now, 29 seconds after Simeone had scored, Zane Franklin gave Idaho a 2-1 lead. He scored 2:16 into the first, and 17 seconds after that, Johnny Walker. Right now it's listed as unassisted. I think Kyle Pouncey probably should get an assist to his name, but Walker with his first of 2 goals on the night. That tied it up at 2, and what was really a crazy first 3 minutes of play. Idaho outshot Utah 16-7 in the first period, but the score was tied at 2 after 20 minutes of play. It went scoreless through the first 8 minutes of the second period. And then there was a 2-on-2. Ty Pelton-Bice was in the high slot, dropped it off for Ryan Domowski on the left side. Domowski was all alone, and a good goal scorer did really what good goal scorers do, and that's deliver when you're wide open. And Domowski scored his 12th of the season. He's got a goal in 8 different games this year, and he's a dynamic playmaker. He gave the Steelheads a 3-2 lead. 47 seconds later, 8:53 in, Dylan Fitz was skating along the right side, just kind of a straight line down from about center ice all the way to the right circle, and kind of like he did against Kansas City, and really kind of like what we've seen him do often as a member of the Grizzlies. Just kind of found a spot over in the right circle while he's gliding in, kind of found a shooting angle he likes and fired away, and somehow was able to get it past Adam Scheel. Fitz gets his 3rd goal of the season. Right now it's listed as unassisted. And Guy and I were talking about it, in the first intermission. We kind of looked like geniuses because, what happens the first couple shifts after a goal gets scored, especially if, you're the one that gave up the goal. Can you find a way to get the momentum back, or does that thing snowball where, you end up allowing another goal, within the next couple minutes? Well, the Grizzlies have done a great job answering Idaho's goals, and that's why they've stayed in this hockey game. Idaho got on a power play. There's been 4 power plays tonight, 2 in the first period for Idaho, 2 in the second period for Idaho. Grizzlies have not gone on the power play yet, but there hasn't been really any instances where you look at it and go, Idaho should have gotten a penalty and they didn't call it. The Steelheads have played a pretty clean game so far. Aaron Tho got a holding minor, 2:47 in. Grizzlies killed off that as Utah killed off the first 3 penalty kills of the game. Dylan Fitz got a slashing minor, 14:01 in, and halfway through the power play, Jordan Kawaguchi scored his 2nd of the game and 5th of the season. Zane Franklin and Matt Register got the assists. Well, 2 minutes and 12 seconds after Kawaguchi scored, Johnny Walker found the back of the net for the second time tonight as Andrew Nilsson was in the left point. There was 2 Grizzlies and about 2 or 3 Steelheads out in front of the net. Nilsson kind of feathered a wrist shot into traffic. It bounced off of Walker and ended up in the back of the net. As Johnny, with good hands, redirecting the Nilsson shot, and Walker getting his 2nd of the game and 7th of the season. And what a first 2 periods for Johnny Walker, and he's been outstanding as that tied the game at 4, and that's where we stand now. And you think about, the 2 minutes and 12 seconds between it being a 4-3 game and a 4-4 game. That's the longest stretch that the Grizzlies went being 1 goal down. As you think about the other 3 times Idaho had scored, Utah responded 17 seconds later. In fact, it was 17 seconds later in both of the first 2 goals that Utah scored after an Idaho goal. In the second period, it was 47 seconds after Domowski had scored to make it 3-3, where Dylan Fitz tied it up. And then 2 minutes and 12 seconds after Kawaguchi got the power play goal, Walker tied it up 4 apiece. So you're talking about a Grizzlies team that's really been resilient here tonight, and that's a big reason why they're still in this hockey game. For the Steelheads, they've got 36 shots, 16 in the first period, 20 in the second. Ryan Domowski leads the way with 6 shots. Owen Hedrick and Dawson Bardo, each with 5. Justin Misiak, Colton Keller have 3 shots, and then a few other Steelheads with 2 shots on goal. For the Grizzlies, they had 7 shots in the first and 12 in the second. Connor McDonald and Dylan Fitz each had 3 shots. Obviously, one of Fitz's 3 shots found the back of the net. Both of Johnny Walker's shots have been goals. He's 2 for 2 on shots tonight. Keaton Jamison and Vladislav Mikalchuk in his Grizzlies debut has 2 shots, and then a few other Grizzlies with 1 shot on goal. Trent Miner probably feels like he's played an entire game tonight. He has stopped 32 of 36. Adam Shield for Idaho, normally a good goaltender, but's having a struggle tonight. He has only stopped 15 of 19. As we're joined here at center ice in section 114 at Maverick Center by Guy Carenza. Guy, we got a men's league game going on right now. It looks like it's in the 3rd period. The home team leads 3-1. Have you seen any of this game, and can you break down what's going on in front of us with the men's league game?
You know, it's funny because we have this game going on right in front of us, and I haven't been paying attention to it at all. I've been focused on the Grizzlies here, but it seems like it's been a much closer game than the last one that they had going on here. This one's 3-1. The other one was like 8-2. So bit of a closer game, but I can't comment any further on it.
It's been a seesaw game that's kind of swayed back and forth. Idaho would score a goal, and then the Grizzlies would answer. And then Idaho would score, and the Grizzlies would quickly answer. You know, I talked about it where, you know, it's like in the first period, Utah scored 17 seconds after an Idaho goal, and they did that twice. You know, Idaho made it 3-2, and then 47 seconds later, Dylan Fitz scores, and then, you know, Idaho made it 4-3, and then 2 minutes later, Johnny Walker answers with the second of the game. That feels like the story of the game, and I think the word of the night is resiliency. Grizzlies have really been resilient. You know that Idaho is a team that's going to make some plays offensively. They're going to score goals. How do you handle, how do you handle the next few minutes to not let it snowball? I think the Grizzlies have been outstanding in that regard tonight.
Oh yeah, Tyson, no doubt about it. And I like that word that you use, resilience. And that's it. That's the story so far of this game is Grizzlies have been super resilient. I mean, the Idaho Steelheads will go down, score a goal, and the Grizzlies will say, yeah, that's okay. We
answer right back.
We can match that. And they do. And so I think that's awesome and that's brilliant. But the one glaring issue is that the Grizzlies haven't led in this game so far. So I think with that mentality of, all right, let's catch them off guard, that, those first couple of shifts after a goal, I think that's what the Grizzlies need to do coming into the 3rd period is just say, let's pretend that Idaho just scored a goal. Let's go out there, play super hard for the next couple of shifts. See if we can get one past Shield, and then you got a 5-4 lead. All right, and then now the game is on you dominate the game. You have it. So it'll be interesting to see how the Grizzlies come out and play in this 3rd period here.
Man, I think Dylan Fitz certainly, with the goal that he scored has been big. But I'm thinking about Vladislav Mikalchuk, in his first Grizzlies game. He's got 2 shots. He was just signed yesterday. I think Andrew Nelson, he had the assist there as the shot got redirected by Johnny Walker. I think Nelson's played a pretty good game. And Connor McDonald, just every single game he's in, always seems to be in the right place at the right time in the defensive zone. And, guys like that have really been big in keeping the Grizzlies in this one.
Yeah, Tyson, you're right. Especially McDonald and Nielsen. I think when they're out of the lineup, it's noticeable. Those 2 guys are they're just playmakers. They're a bunch of gamers. Connor McDonald is always blocking shots, and it seems like that stat isn't tracked throughout this league. But that's a big part of his game. Is he'll go and he'll block shots, especially on the penalty kill. We've talked about the penalty kill so far. They're 3 for 4 on the penalty kill. Connor McDonald is always blocking shots. I one of these days I got to start counting how many shots he blocks in game because it's amazing. And Andrew Nielsen, that guy's an assist machine. He's always feeding the puck into the right spaces and generating scoring chances while also being a really good defenseman. So those 2 guys are awesome for the Grizzlies and are a huge part of their success.
And even though he hasn't scored a point tonight, Neil Robinson's a +2. And so he's playing a lot of minutes, and he's played some good minutes for the Grizzlies here tonight. Does it feel like the kind of game where the next goal wins, or is it going to be one of those where kind of like the first 2 periods, somebody's going to score a goal and then it's going to get answered right back? How do you find a way to predict what's going to happen here in the 3rd?
Well, this is turning into one of those classic Grizzlies Steelhead games where you really don't know what's going to happen. You just know that it's really entertaining hockey. And whenever the Grizzlies and the Steelheads meet up, it's always a good one. And this one it's the case. It's one of the best rivalries in the league, if not the best. So I think both teams will come out and play hard in the 3rd, but it does feel like the next goal will give whoever scores it, that team, the leg up. But I don't necessarily think that it's going to be the game-winning goal.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here in the 3rd. Let's go over the big game going on in Las Vegas. End of 3 quarters, Utah leads USC 24-17. And we got to give a shout out to Nick Hayes, who's keeping us updated on the score there on the live chat here on YouTube. Looks like Cam Rising's got 2 touchdown passes. Jackson's got a touchdown run. And the Utes lead 24-17. This is a huge game. I think it's a bigger game for USC because if they win, they're probably in the college football playoff, and their quarterback, Caleb Williams, probably wins the Heisman. Williams right now has 2 touchdown passes, 187 yards, 15 for 25. He's also USC's leading rusher with 51 yards on 7 carries. But it certainly would take a little bit of shine off his Heisman campaign if USC doesn't beat Utah, even though I do think he's enough of a favorite that if he plays well, he might still win it regardless of whether USC wins. If Utah wins, they're probably headed for the Rose Bowl for the 2nd straight year, but USC's got a college football playoff berth on the line as they are 11-1 this season, but USC's only loss in the regular year came by the hands of the Utes as they went for 2 and scored and won 43-42. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the 4th. Utah leads USC 24-17. Some other games in the league the Grizzlies call home. Some games in the Mountain Division. Indy defeats Tulsa 5-4, so Tulsa got a standing point tonight, but Indy scored 37 seconds into overtime as they win 5-4. Wichita defeats Kansas City 3-2 as the Thunder go to 9-6-2 on the year. Kansas City falls to 8-7-1. In a wild game at Credit Union of Texas Event Center, Rapid City scored 2 unanswered in the final, or 3 unanswered in the 3rd period, including 2 in the final 2.5 minutes of regulation, as Nikolaev got the game winner with 39 seconds left in regulation. Alex Aliardi and Sam Levine with the assists, as Rapid City gets a 6-5 road victory over the Allen Americans. Rapid City goes to 9-8 on the season. Allen falls to 5-9-1. So the Rapid City Rush are over the 500 mark this season. Tulsa stays at 500, picking up 1 out of 2 standings points tonight. And for the Grizzlies, who have won 2 in a row, they're a 500 team right now with a record of 8-8. Can they go? And so obviously it's a swing game. Are you going to go over 500 or are you going to go below 500? Or could you pick up 1 out of 2 standings points and stay at the 500 mark after tonight? It'll be interesting to see how this 3rd period transpires. One thought about Trent Miner, though, he's seen a ton of shots in the first 2 periods, stopping 32 of 36. But I think Trent Miner's really held strong against a really good Idaho team. You probably want to have that one back that Kawaguchi scored. It looked like Kawaguchi might have caught Miner leaning a little bit towards his left and bounced it off his right arm and into the back of the net. But I think Trent's played a pretty good game tonight.
Yeah, Tyson, I agree. I mean, the stat sheet doesn't reflect that, or at least the score that is. But Idaho takes a lot of shots, so you figure, a few of them are bound to go in. But overall, I think it's a really solid performance from Trent.
We're tied at 4, and when we come back, we'll have 3rd period action. And we'll be back in 1 minute to have the 3rd period. We're tied at 4 in the first of a 2-game weekend series and the first of 5 straight on the road. This has been the Siegfried and Jensen Intermission Report right here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Now we're about set to start 3rd period action as the Grizzlies and the Steelheads are tied at 4. I'm Tyson Whiting, hanging out with Guy Krenz. We'll talk with Guy during the post-game report. First of a 2-game set. Grizzlies will be on the road against Jacksonville next Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, December 7th, 9th, and 10th. Then the Grizzlies will return home for a 2-game series against Kansas City. Saturday, December 17th is the next Grizzlies home game. That's 15 days from now. And don't forget that it's also going to be Ugly Sweater Night. So bring your ugly sweater and cheer on the Grizzlies against the Kansas City Mavericks. The Grizzlies are going to be wearing ugly sweater-themed specialty jerseys. And it's also the teddy bear toss night. So get that arm loosened up and see how far you can throw it. Can you get it out to the center ice logo? or could you pick a target out there to throw on the ice after Utah's first goal? We had a good showing last season, but I want to see a ton of teddy bears on the ice. I want to see a 30-minute delay. I want Guy and I to have to chat for 20 minutes after the teddy bear toss goal because I want to see that many teddy bears on the ice. To everybody who's going to the game on December 17th to bring a few teddy bears and throw on the ice after Utah's first goal. All the bears would go to local charities, and they obviously go to a good cause every year, as it's one of hockey's fun traditions. The teddy bear toss continues here at Mavericks Center on December 17th against the Kansas City Mavericks. And that series will also have a Sunday afternoon game at 3:10. So it's a 2-game set against Kansas City. And then the week after, guess what? The Idaho Steelheads are going to be at Mavericks Center as these teams face each other 18 times during the regular season. The puck is dropped and we're underway for the third as Idaho wins the draw. Steelheads skating from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports. Utah skating from left to right. As Matt Register crosses center ice and he'll wrap it around the boards. Trent Miner lets it go to the right corner. Grizzlies gather it as Utah battling in the corner. Nilsson behind the net. He'll give way to Connor McDonald. We'll throw it ahead to Johnny Walker. He's got 2 goals tonight. He'll bounce it off a Steelhead stick as it goes deep into the Idaho zone. As Idaho back in the right corner. And they get it over to Jack Becker. He'll nudge it ahead. As the Steelheads cross center ice, Jade Miller, the former South Carolina Stingray. He'll skate towards the left circle, takes a shot, and a blocker is saved by Miner. Rebound goes to the near side, taken by Penner. Tyler will chip it ahead towards Walker at center ice. Walker will throw it into the left corner as the Grizzlies make a line change about 1 minute into the third period. Idaho deep in their own zone as they've only lost once at home this season. That was to the Grizzlies on October 28th. Left wing pass to Domowski. He'll take a shot. Blocker saved by Miner. Rebound goes out to the corner. Domowski spins it around as it goes to the right point. Now the puck back behind the right circle. As Domowski skates towards the corner on the far side, he tried to nudge it across to Ty Pelton-Bice. Bice gets knocked down by Bartley behind Utah's net. Puck goes to the near side. Skating after it's McCallchuk. He'll nudge it ahead to Jamison. Back to Raby, who skates over the line. Raby feeds over to the left side. One-timer. That one goes wide. I think that was McCallchuk that took it. Though gets it back to the near corner for Raby. He tried to get it to Jamison, but he couldn't accept the pass as Domowski poked it away. Idaho crosses center ice now to Domowski on the left side. I got it poked away by Utah. Good poke check by the Grizz. Now to the right side. Raby trying to get around White. White poked it away. Idaho crosses center ice. Domowski will step over the line, and he'll nudge it to the corner. So he'll get off the ice. Big collision in the right corner. Grizzlies skate around their net as they skate from left to right. Dylan Fitz crosses center. He gets hit, and he gets dragged down by Colton Keller. Puck still in play. Actually, it was Nick Canati that hit Fitz. As Idaho throws it out to center ice looking for Kawaguchi, passes behind him and goes deep into the Grizzlies zone. Icing is called as Connor McDonald skated over there to win the foot race. 17:42 left in the third. We're tied at 4, and the Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw. And, you know, the Grizzlies, you think about them being shorthanded. If you joined us late, earlier today, Cameron Wright was reassigned to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. Wright currently is on an AHL contract for this season. Earlier this week, Zach Sekos also sent to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. Last week, Brandon Cutler and Taryn Pfizer went to the AHL, and Ben Tardif and Nate Klerman are still there. So quite a few good players are in the AHL, as is Kyle Betts, who's in Belleville. As the puck deep in the Grizzly zone after Idaho won the faceoff. As the puck rolls around the near boards, Canati looks to center it, kicked off a skate. Now up ahead, looking for Neil Robinson. And the pass goes wide all the way to Adam Scheel, who covers up. As we're tied at 4, Grizzlies will have an offensive zone draw. And Grizzlies that have been awfully impressive here tonight include Neil Robinson, who doesn't have any points, but he is a +2 for the Grizzlies as we got action here early on in the third period. Good to see Connor McDonald back in a Grizzlies uniform as he missed Sunday's game, and there was concern that he'd be out for a while, but luckily he was only able to miss the one game and is right back in action, and he looks like he's more than 100% here tonight. Penner will take the face-off in the right circle, and it's won by Idaho as Darren Brady skates around the net. And guys doing some math right now, no, you can't be more than 100%. 100% is the max you can actually be. Grizzlies at center ice will dump it to the right corner. Bounced off a Steelhead. Idaho skates back the other ways. They gain the offensive line and dump it into the far corner as Andrew Nilsson on 2 knees as he's battling with Idaho. Steelheads feed it to the right circle. Passes wide of the mark. And puck ends up back in the high slot. Canati drops it off for Misiak. He takes a shot. Oh, it gets blocked. Over to the left circle. They look to center it. Utah picks it off. Grizz get it out to center ice for Penner. He collides with Canati as the puck glides towards Shield as he'll nudge it ahead. Does Adam Shield, number 35, out to neutral ice. Now goes back into the Steelhead zone as Idaho spreads the ice. They'll feed it to Bardo on the near side. They'll get it to the left for Misiak. Justin will skate in, and he'll fire a low-laying angle shot, saved by Minor. Rebound goes out to Utah as they skate around the net. Pouncey at neutral ice, crosses center on the far side, and he'll dump it in. Puck rolls towards the right corner. Utah chips it ahead. It got redirected, no icing as the puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. Running after it's Kyle Pouncey. He gets it, and he'll throw it to Victor Bartley. Bartley has got 2 points in each of his last 2 games. He'll feed it across around the boards. Pouncey chases after it. Kyle collides with a Steelhead. Idaho on the right point. Gets it across to Becker. He takes a shot on and gets blocked by Minor. Bartley blasts Becker, and Jade Miller wanted to go after Bartley, and Bartley hit Miller. As right point, Idaho shot. That goes wide. It rolls along the near boards. Grizzlies will toss it to center ice. Pass McCallchuck back to Matt Register for Idaho. He'll get it to Darren Brady, who will ricochet it off the far boards. Idaho dumps it in. Aaron Tho along the wall. He'll nudge it to the corner for Simeone. Idaho fanned on getting it to the left point. Grizzlies clear it out as it goes past Matt Register. Skates back into his own zone. He'll feed it across. It's Idaho skating from right to left here in the third period. We're about 5 minutes into the third, still tied at 4. Bardo crosses center ice and down in. Puck rolls along towards the near side. Now Idaho. As we got the arm raised, the Grizzly went down. I think Utah is going to be on the power play for the first time tonight. As Corey Thomas went down as he was battling along the end wall with a Steelhead. Thomas gets on 2 knees, and he gets up slowly. I think that means that Utah is going to be on the power play for the first time this evening. As Colton Keller and Corey Thomas were chasing after the puck, Keller knocked down Thomas behind Utah's net, and the referee was in the spot to make the call. Thomas limps towards the bench as the trainer, Colin Lee, gets his first TV time of the series. To the penalty box is Colton Keller. He's in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. It's the first power play tonight for the Grizzlies. Utah is 22% on the power play this season. Idaho's penalty kill is 88.1%. As Thomas went down awkwardly along the wall, luckily he was able to get back to his feet. Over the last 10 games, Utah's power play is 16 for 53. Grizzlies were dominant on the power play in the series last weekend against Trois Rivières, winning 2 out of 3 games. Utah wins the draw. Nielsen skates towards his left. He'll take a shot. Finally got redirected by an Idaho stick and goes out of play off the protective netting. 8 seconds into the Grizzlies' power play. Draw is going to stay in the Idaho zone. Watch out for Andrew Nielsen on the power play. He leads the league in power play assists with 12 and power play points with 13. Johnny Walker will take the draw for Utah. We're tied at 4, 14:57 left in the third. Neither team has scored so far in the third. Both teams scored 2 goals in the first, and both teams scored 2 goals in the second. Walker doesn't take many face-offs, but he wins this one. Centering pass, shot, saved by Shield. Boy, Walker won the face-off, and it went to the left side. They quickly centered it to Raby, who fired a one-timer, but Adam Shield made the quick save. He held on. All that sequence ended up in a 2-second span. There's still 150 left in the power play. Draw once again is going to be in the left circle. And this time the draw won by Utah. Fitz throws it up top. Grizzlies get it to Nielsen, back to Fitz. Now up top for Nielsen, the left point over to Raby. He's on the right side, just outside the circle. He gets pushed along the wall. Nielsen throws to the left side. One-timer, and that one goes wide off the boards. Idaho tries to clear it out, and A.J. White cut in front of Nielsen. Now White skates down the middle. He gets the puck, surrounded by 2 Grizzlies, takes a shot, saved by Minor. Rebound goes back to Nielsen as the Grizzlies will restart the attack from left to right. Nielsen skates towards the near side. He'll bounce it off the boards for McCallchuck. He'll feed it across as the Grizzlies skate back in. Raby is onside on the left side. He'll throw it to the left point. Idaho picks it off and clears it out. Halfway through the power play, still tied at 4. Minor behind his net. Utah makes a line change. Grizzlies gather it. Victor Bartley skates down the middle. He'll throw it ahead to neutral ice. Now the right wing pass to Penner. Penner skates into the corner, gets the puck back as he'll roll it back to the left side. Aaron Tho in the left corner. Tho surveys, gets over to Jamison. He nudges back to the left point. Bartley across to Penner. Tyler in the right circle. He gets to the corner. Grizzlies throw it back up top, looking for Bartley. Pass never got towards him, and Idaho clears it out. As the Steelheads really do a good job anticipating where the Grizzlies' next pass is going to be. They've done that time and time again on the penalty kill. That's why Idaho's got one of the best penalty kill units in the league. Grizzlies at neutral ice. Jamison steps over the blue line, feeds to his left. Puck ends up to the left corner. Robinson in the area, drops it off for Jamison. He gets it back towards Robinson. Skates to the right corner. Late in the power play, Grizzlies centering pass shot, saved by Shield. The shot was taken by Penner. Puck glides along the far wing boards and goes out to center ice. Grizz back in their own zone gets it. They are 0 for 1 on the power play as Colton Keller out of the penalty box. Idaho at neutral ice, across the center. They'll throw it to the right side. 1-on-5. Idaho right wing shot, saved by Minor. Rebound goes out towards the left side. Martin will nudge it ahead towards Fitz. Idaho gets it at neutral ice. They'll feed a right wing pass. Now they'll skate in along the boards. Idaho stops and gets hit by Bryson Martin. Idaho nudges back towards the corner. Now Fitz gets it. Dillon skates back into the corner. He gets double teamed. He'll throw it to McDonald. Now to the near side. Grizzlies will throw it to center ice. Taken by Martin. Simeone. He'll gain the line and he'll roll it along the boards. Cut off by the goaltender Shield. Idaho will roll it along the near side. Grizzlies will throw it back on the left side. And they'll dump it in from neutral ice. Idaho's outshot Utah 6-1 here in the third period. So Steelheads throw it to Kawaguchi on the near side. Idaho's leads the shot count 42-20. Steelheads dump it into the Grizzly zone. Utah chases after it. About 12 minutes and counting left in the third. We're still tied at 4. Utah to center ice. Passes wide of Dylan Fitz. Goes back to Idaho as the Steelheads will feed it over to the right side. They cross center ice. Utah poked it away. Grizzlies skate in. They drop it off to the left circle. Centering pass looking for Walker out in front. Idaho cuts in front of him and picks it off and throws it to the left corner. As the action deepened the Steelhead zone. Now the Grizzlies skate towards the left circle. Idaho poked it back to the corner. Penner gets it, and he'll throw it behind the net. Robinson gets spun around. Robinson gets it taken away. As it goes to the right side, Matt Register will skate along the near side. Now he'll bounce it off a Grizzly. Penner near the Idaho bench will throw it into the right corner. As Idaho gets it to the far side, they cross center ice and dump it in. Minor had to go between his legs. It rolls to the left corner as Minor was out of his net. As the Grizzlies. Jamison over to McCallchuck. He gets around Kanadi over to the corner. Raby centers it to Jamison. He takes a shot on it, gets blocked. Puck to the left side. Nilsson around. Looking for McCallchuck. He gets cut off behind the net. And Idaho will start the attack as they skate to center ice and dump it in. McDonald chases after it in the corner. Misiak nearby, but McDonald wins the foot race. Grizzlies back in the far corner as they survey. And Nilsson fanned on the pass. Idaho around the net. Utah's net. Misiak battling with Nilsson. Puck glides towards the near circle. Utah gathers it. McDonald over to Jamison. They'll feed it across to McCallchuck. He'll skate in, but lose the puck right at the Idaho blue line. Kanadi skates across the center ice logo. Now Vera pass ahead that's picked off by Utah's. Kanadi lost his stick. Is that going to be a penalty? It might be. 10:24 left in the third. Bryson Martin's going to skate to the penalty box as we're tied at 4, and it looks like Idaho's back on the power play when we come back in 1 minute. We're tied at 4 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Mountain Land Supply Company.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Grizzlies Hockey. We're tied at 4 as we've had ourselves a fun hockey game. Both teams scored 2 in the first. Both teams scored 2 in the second. Johnny Walker's got 2 goals tonight for Utah. Idaho's Jordan Kawaguchi has 2 goals. As the Steelheads are on the power play for the 5th time tonight, Matt Register throws to the right side as Bryson Martin's got a 2-minute penalty. As Register, lefty shot on, it got redirected and goes out of play as he tried to go stick side on Trent Miner. And with Trent's quick glove, it looks like the Steelheads are either trying to go high or they're trying to go, it's almost like they're trying to go high stick side over his right shoulder. They've tried that shot, that area quite a bit here so far tonight. Draw's going to be the near circle. Keaton Jamison will take it for Utah against Idaho's A.J. White. Face off won by the Grizzlies. Bartley skates around his net and will clear it all the way out. Bryson Martin got 2 minutes for slashing, 9:36 into the 3rd period. Grizzlies killing off that penalty now. Idaho at neutral ice throws it to the near side for Kawaguchi. He'll stop along the near wall. They'll throw it up top for Register. Now across to the right point. Idaho in the offensive zone throws it to the right corner. As the Steelheads will get it up top for Brady. And so switch places with Register. He'll feed it to Kawaguchi on the left side. Kawaguchi back up top for Bardo, or he'll take a shot. Saved by Miner. Rebound goes to Utah, and the Grizz clear it out. With only 5 defensemen playing for Idaho, Dawson Bardo's playing a lot of time, including some power play time. So he'll skate around his net. He'll drop it back off for Register. Bardo comes off the ice as Register feeds it to the far side. Grizzlies pick it off and clear it all the way out. Schill out of his net as Crease skates all the way towards the near corner as the Steelheads skate from right to left. Idaho skates down the middle. Owen Hedrick dumps it to the corner. Aaron Thobe behind Utah's net collides with Hedrick. Hedrick feeds it back to Domowski. He's on the left side. Domowski, left circle, shot. Saved by Miner. Puck still in play along the near boards. Pelton Bice in the left point will feed it to the right side. Now the Steelheads over in the right corner. Hedrick wants it up top, but the puck never gets up top. Right circle now goes up top to Hedrick. He'll gather it. He'll throw it to his left for Keller. Keller skates towards left circle with momentum. Will take a shot and he scores. Colton Keller gets one past Trent Miner as the Steelheads have taken a 5-4 lead. That's Idaho's 2nd power play goal of the night. Keller was isolated on the left side, got to the circle, and with plenty of momentum, skated towards the center ice dot, or the left circle dot, and he went top shelf, stick side on Trent Miner, which is where the Steelheads have been trying to go all night long. Keller's given the Grizzlies all sorts of fits over the year, and he's picked up his 9th of the season. Idaho was 0 for 3 on the power play to start the night. Now they've scored 2 straight power play goals. They lead 5-4 with 8:29 left in the 3rd. Draw at center ice, won by Idaho. Keaton Jamison taking the draw for Utah's. Register back in his own zone. Still had skating from right to left. Register crosses center ice and dumps it in. Connor McDonald chasing after it. But it looked like the Steelheads got called for icing with 8:19 left in the 3rd. Colton Keller's goal has given the Steelheads a 5-4 lead. It was a power play tally. Grizzlies have had 1 power play tonight, and Idaho killed off the penalty. And that was here early in the 3rd period. As a draw won by Idaho, but they overskated the puck. Grizzlies at neutral ice will feed a right wing pass past Mikulchuk in his Grizzlies debut. Register with his long stick, dumps it deep into the Grizzlies zone. Miner behind his net loses the puck. Idaho tries to feed it out in front, but it goes to the right side. Shot. That one goes wide. Puck along the near side. Idaho around the net. Jade Miller in the corner. As Nilsson loses his stick. Behind the net, McDonald battling. Nilsson gets his stick back as Idaho will feed it back to the right point. Steelheads around the boards, behind the net. Connor McDonald gets it, and he'll throw it ahead to Mikulchuk. Mikulchuk crosses center ice. He'll skate into the zone. 3-on-4. Mikulchuk gets hacked a couple times and loses the puck. Idaho crosses center ice. Now they've gained the lines. They skeet down the middle. Utah poked it away. Now righty shot goes wide. And the puck back towards the far corner. Victor Bartley gets it. And he'll sail it high into the air. It bounces at center ice. Idaho gathers it and backhands it in as they avoid a check of Bryson Martin. Pouncey around the net, trying to get it towards Bartley, but the puck stayed along the far boards. Now it goes out to center ice. Owen Hedrick chasing after it. Idaho's outshot the Grizzlies 10-1 in the 3rd period. Grizzlies at neutral ice will feed it ahead to Simeone. He'll feed it to his left. Grizzlies skate towards the left circle and wrap it around the boards, but it exits play as a fan gets a souvenir with 6:59 left in the third. Colton Keller has the deciding goal now with a power play tally a couple minutes ago. 6:59 left in the third. It's the Steelheads 5 and the Grizzlies 4. We're back in 1 minute. This is Grizzlies Hockey, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
The crowd over at Idaho Central Arena, 5,171. It's sellout number 7 of the season for the Steelheads. Draws in the Idaho zone. They lead 5-4. Grizzlies win the draw. Pouncey throws to the right corner as Idaho gets bounced along the wall. Now the Steelheads will carry it out to center ice. They'll bounce off the stick of Bryson Martin at the Utah blue line. Martin, normally a forward, but playing defense tonight. His whistle blows, and I guess it's offside. As the draw's going to be at neutral ice. So Martin probably played with a high stick, I think is the call. So he'll skate off the ice. Martin was sporting a sweet-looking beard in November, or a mustache in November. It looks like he's kept the mustache on to the month of December. Draw's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. Johnny Walker has 2 goals. Utah also has a tally from Dylan Fitz and Christian Simeone. Idaho has 2 goals from Jordan Kawaguchi, Colton Keller, Zane Franklin, and Ryan Domowski have each lit the lamp. Idaho wins the draw in the offensive zone as Register on the left side rolls it around the boards behind Utah's net. Idaho looking for some insurance. They feed it out to the right circle. Right wing shot saved by Minor. Puck glides along the far boards as Pelton Bice battling with Pouncey. Pouncey comes out of it with the puck. He'll skate around Minor's net as he gets pushed along the near side. Now it's a center ice. Johnny Walker on hat trick watch will feed it to his left for Penner. Penner will spin it along to the right wing. Walker avoids a check, but loses the puck as Pelton Bice skates out to center ice and on the near side crosses center and dumps it in. McDonald chases after it. Less than 6 minutes left in regulation. Idaho's up 5-4. McDonald along the left side crosses center ice, tried to dump it in, but it didn't go all the way as it stayed towards the Idaho blue line. A.J. White will feed it off the far boards. Idaho's 13-2, 0-1 this season. Dump it in. As the Steelheads have only lost once at home this season. As it go to the near side, Nilsson will take it for Utah. Throw it ahead to Jamison. Keaton at neutralize, feeds it to his right for Raby. Raby skates in on side with McCallchuk towards his right. Raby with a left wing shot, saved by Adam Scheel. And the Idaho goaltender holds on with 5:28 left in the third. Well, if you joined us late, we had a crazy first 3 minutes of play tonight. There were 4 goals scored in the stretch of a minute and 3 seconds. Jordan Kawaguchi got Idaho on the board 1:30 in with A.J. White getting the assist. 17 seconds later, Christian Simeone tied it up for Utah, and that goal was unassisted. 29 seconds after Simeone made it 1-1, Zane Franklin gave Idaho a 2-1 lead. 17 seconds later, Johnny Walker tied it up at 2. And that was 2:33 into the first period. It was tied at 2 after one period. Ryan Domowski scored 8:06 into the second period. 47 seconds later, Dylan Fitz tied it up with his third of the year for Utah, 8:53 in. Jordan Kawaguchi made it a 4-3 game as he scored 15:10 into the second period. Johnny Walker tied it up 2 minutes and 12 seconds later with his second of the game and 7th of the season as he redirected an Andrew Nilsson shot. Score is tied at 4 heading into the third period. Steelheads gone on a power play after Bryson Martin got a slashing minor. 9:36 in and very late with 5 seconds left on that power play. Colton Keller was isolated on the left circle and fired one over the right shoulder of Trent Minor for his 9th of the season. And Hedrick and Domowski with the assist. And that's where we stand now. Idaho has 47 shots to Utah's 21. Steelheads have outshot the Grizzlies 11-2 in the third period. Action deep in the Steelhead zone as we're back to live action with a little bit more than 5 minutes left in regulation. Utah on the right point. Raby fires towards the net. He got blocked in the right circle as Idaho will bounce it off the wall on the near side as Utah skating from left to right as we see it on Flow Sports. Your mind's eye see it on Mixler. Idaho skating from right to left as Raby will feed it across as it rolls back along the far wall for Tho. He's in the left point. He'll take a lefty shot, and it goes wide. Hedrick chasing after it along the near boards, but Idaho gets it. They'll cross center ice. Kawaguchi's got 2 goals tonight. He'll dump it into the left corner as he collides with Tyler Penner. Simeone in the area as Kawaguchi throws it from one corner to the other. Bartley chases after it. He gets it, and he'll lift it into the air. It bounces into the Grizzlies zone, and it looks like it's going to be icing on Utah as Bartley dumped it in from Grizzlies territory. So the action comes back towards Trent Miner's net with 4:31 left in the third period. And if it's even humanly possible, we'll keep an eye on Trent Miner to see if he comes off for the extra skater. Miner's been very busy tonight. He has seen 47 shots, and he's stopped 42 of them. Adam Schill for Idaho has stopped 17 of 21. Difference in the game, Idaho is 2 for 5 on the power play. Grizzlies are 0 for 1. Draw in the Grizzlies zone, won by Idaho. They lead 5-4 and are looking for some insurance. Puck behind the net. Grizzlies poke it away. As Utah over on the far side with a 2-game winning streak, looking to make it 3, skate around Miner's net and stop behind it. And the Grizz will nudge it ahead to Bartley. He'll feed it to his left as the Grizzlies cross center ice. Right wing pass to Bryson Martin. He gets around Spanenbergs over in the right corner. He'll throw it, and they look to center it to Fitz out in front from the left side, and it bounced off the pads of Shield. Idaho carries into the offensive zone as Becker skates towards the left corner. He stops in the corner, throws it over to the right side looking for Spanenbergs. He'll nudge it back along the far wall, taken by Fitz. Dylan has a goal tonight, 3 on the season. He'll throw it from one blue line to the other, looking for Neil Robinson, who couldn't get there. Idaho crosses center ice and dumps it in. McDonald chases after it. 3:39 and counting left in the third. Puck to the side of Miner's net. Grizzlies now behind it as Idaho battling. Colton Keller's got the deciding goal now, battling behind Utah's net. Puck squirts towards Miner, who covers up, and Colton Keller in a push with Nilsson. Nilsson is on his keister. Keller looking nearby, and the referee spotting no call as he talks with Keller as there was a collision behind Utah's net, and puck and the play stopped as Miner covered up the puck as those two are battling, and the puck ended up gliding towards Trent, who covered up. After the whistle, Keller hit Nilsson, I think because the referee thought that it was an accident. They didn't call a penalty, but it looked like Keller just kind of had his arm fly back and hit Nilsson in the head. Like I said, they didn't make a call there, probably because the referee thought it was an accident. That was after the whistle, and that's why Nilsson was down and Keller was over him. 5-4 Steelheads. They win the face-off as it's over in the far corner. As now to the right circle, shot, and that goes wide. We got a penalty. Who's it going to be on? It's going to be on Utah. It's going to be a cross-check as Ryan Domowski got hit by Aaron Tho in the back. And boy, you talk about an interesting night worth of penalties. This is the 6th penalty by the Grizzlies. Idaho has only committed 1. And every now and then you see a game like that in Boise with the environment and things like that where the power play discrepancy becomes pretty significant. It was along the right corner where Tho hit Domowski. I'm not saying it was the wrong call, but the call was made, and in a critical sequence in the game where the Grizzlies are trying to tie it up, Idaho's back on the power play. Steelheads are 2 for 5 on the power play tonight. Grizzlies have only had 1 power play, and that came early in the third period. They are 0 for 1. A.J. White kicked out of the face-off circle. Kawaguchi will take it for Idaho against Keaton Jamison. Idaho wins the draw. Left point, Register. Just hangs out in the left point. He's a very patient player. He'll throw it to his right for Bardo. Now just outside the right circle. Now up top for Register. Back to the right side. Now in the circle. They throw it up top for Register. He'll take a shot. And that one goes wide. Now right side shot. That one goes wide as well as it glides along the near boards and goes out to center ice. Register back at his blue line. Will feed a right wing pass off the screen as Idaho carries it into the zone. They get it back up top as Idaho skates towards their left and gets it to Register. Register just outside the left circle. I bounced off the Grizzly, and it goes back to the right point. Grizzlies will toss it out towards center ice, but the puck's still in the Grizzly zone. Franklin on the right side skates towards the circle. He's got a goal tonight, and they'll drop it back off along the far boards as Idaho spreads the ice. He'll get it up top for Register as Ty Pelton by-centers. As Register will throw it to the right side. Now Idaho will skate towards their left, and that's Kawaguchi, who's got 2 goals tonight. Kawaguchi back in the left side, just in the corner. He tries to feed it across. Righty shot. Saved by Minor. Puck still in play along the far boards. Idaho gets it back up top for Bice. Now to Register. Wutzheimer on a hit, a teammate out in front. As getting the rebound is Franklin on the left side. Less than 2 minutes left in regulation. 35 seconds left in the power play. Register with a shot that goes wide. Taken by Kawaguchi along the right wing boards. He'll throw it up top for Register. Matt will skate towards the middle. Now to Kawaguchi. He'll take a shot that goes wide. As Register will feed it over to the right side. Now it's Darren Brady. Brady and Register switch places. Over to Belton Bice. Back to Brady. Brady switches places again with Register. Now to the left side. Pelton Bice with a shot. And it bounces off of the pad of Minor and goes out of play. A blocker saved by Minor. As play stops with 1:27 left in the third. 9 seconds left in the Steelheads power play. Idaho leads 5-4. Minor still in net as action has been in the Grizzlies zone almost the entire Idaho power play. Grizzlies looking to find a way to tie it up. As Grizz win the draw, Nelson throws it along the far boards. Idaho back in the right corner. Corey Thomas in the area. As out of the penalty box right now is Utah. And it's Aaron Tho as he'll skate. He was going to join the play, but now he skates off the ice. Grizzlies have it as Dylan Fitz will dump it deep into the Steelhead zone. Chasing after it's McCallchuck, but Idaho gets the puck. 1 minute left in regulation as Idaho will skate towards neutral ice. They'll cross center. Bardo will dump it in. They'll dump it in all the way to Minor, who catches it, and it looked like a quick whistle. As there's 55 seconds left in the third, Minor caught the shot from center ice before the time before he was able to get rid of it. Looked like the whistle blew, and that's big because the draw is probably going to be in the Grizzlies zone, and it is. I think Minor was going to glove it, throw a pass, and then Grizzlies get to the offensive zone where Minor can come off of the extra skater. But he's still in there. Utah wins the draw to get it out to neutral ice. Utah falls down. No call on the play. Now Penner enters the offensive zone. Fandon dumping into the corner. It's back at center ice as Raby will feed it across. 40 seconds left in the third period. Grizzlies are down 5-4. Looks like Utah's net is empty. As Nilsson back along the near side at center ice. Will feed it ahead. Looking for Johnny Walker. Walker crosses center ice. He'll throw it to the right for Raby. Raby gains the line, throws to Penner. Shot goes wide on a one-timer. Walker will throw it to the left side. Utah's net is empty. 20 seconds left. As centering pass shot saved by Shield. Idaho gets it. They'll fire towards the empty net, and it's wide. No icing on the play. McDonald chases after it. 8 seconds left. Steelheads have the puck as they'll fire it towards McDonald. It hits the side of the net. 4 seconds left. Grizzlies fire it into the Steelhead zone and onto Shield, but it's too late as Shield makes the save, and that will do it. Idaho wins 5-4 as Colton Keller got the game winner halfway through the third period on the power play as the Steelheads high five Adam Shield, who gets his 4th victory of the season. Steelheads go to 14-2-0-1 on the season with 29 standings points. The Grizzlies' 2-game winning streak comes to an end. Their record falls to 8-9. It was a good game for the Grizzlies with Johnny Walker scoring 2 goals. Christian Simeone and Dylan Fitz also finding the back of the net. Difference in the game, Idaho with 2 power play goals. The Grizzlies only had 1 power play chance, and they were 0 for 1 on the power play. It was a very busy night for Trent Minor as Idaho took upwards of 50 shots on the Utah goaltender as the Steelheads salute their fans. It was a sellout crowd of 5,171 over at Idaho Central Arena. The Steelheads outshot the Grizzlies 14-2 in the third period and 50-21 for the game. Trent Minor stopped 45 of 50. Adam Schill stopped 17 of 21. We'll recap tonight's contest and talk with Guy Krenza as tonight the Steelheads get the 2 standings points as they defeat the Grizzlies 5-4 over at Idaho Central Arena. Post-game shows coming up next here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can. and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
The Idaho Steelheads win 5-4 over the Grizzlies as they announced the 3 stars of the game. Looks like number 3 star is Zane Franklin, who scored a first period goal. Franklin was active all night. Second star is Jordan Kawaguchi, who scored 2 goals tonight, is 4th and 5th this season. I imagine the number 1 star is the guy who scored the game winner. Actually, looks like Kawaguchi was the number 1 star as he's being interviewed. He had 2 goals tonight. I got to think that with a game-winning goal scored by Colton Keller, 11:31 in, that he's going to get a star. Zane Franklin also was a star. We'll see if we can catch you the 3 stars of the game officially were. It looks like it's any combination of Jordan Kawaguchi, who had 2 goals tonight, along with Zane Franklin and Colton Keller. Keller got the game winner, his 9th goal of the season. And really the difference in the game is the power play and the power play discrepancy. You know, sometimes it happens in Boise. I'm not entirely sure why. As I've seen over the years, Idaho went 2 for 6 on the power play. Utah went 0 for 1. It just seems like sometimes you get a game, it always seems like a couple times a year where they're calling it really tight on you. And I'm not sure that Idaho really did much to get penalties. I think they played a pretty clean game, but sometimes it's almost like they call it really tight on the visiting team and not nearly as tight on the home team. And I'm not saying that was the case tonight, but I'm saying it could be, as Idaho went 2 for 6 on the power play. Utah went 0 for 1, and really I think the biggest one was Aaron Tho's cross-checking minor. And even though the Grizzlies successfully killed off that penalty, it was just the fact that Idaho was able to maintain offensive zone time during a critical sequence in the game in the final 3 minutes of play. Idaho outshot Utah 50-21, and what was certainly an interesting game in terms of, what you shot from the shot discrepancy. And, just one of those nights where I think if you're the Grizzlies, you lost Cameron Wright to the AHL today, and you lost Zach Sekos a few days ago. Last week losing Taryn Pfizer and Brandon Cutler, and they've been without Ben Tardif and Nate Klerman for about a month, as well as Kyle Betts. You lose a lot of good players, but I think the Grizzlies handled themselves pretty well tonight. Johnny Walker had the 2 goals. Let's go over the scoring before we talk with Guy Carenza here, high top section 114 at Maverick Center. Jordan Kawaguchi got Idaho on the board first, 1:30 into the game. White with the assist. 17 seconds later, Christian Simeone scored unassisted. It was kind of a strange play where Adam Schill, the Idaho goaltender, had the puck in the crease. He bounced it off the boards behind him, just ricocheted towards the left circle, and Simeone just drove it into the back of the net for his first goal of the season. Then 29 seconds after Simeone tied the game, Zane Franklin gave the Steelheads a 2-1 lead, his 5th goal of the season. Owen Hedrick with the assist. 17 seconds after that, after Franklin had scored, Johnny Walker got his first of 2 goals tonight and 6th of the season. I think Kyle Pouncey should get an assist. He threw an outlet pass to Walker, unless it got redirected by a stick and then it glided towards Walker. Pouncey probably could get an assist. He ended up throwing the pass that led to the Walker goal. Right now it's listed as unassisted. 2:33 into the contest. That tied it up at 2, and the score was tied at 2 through 20 minutes of play. Idaho outshot Utah 16-7 in the first period. In the second, the Steelheads took a 3-2 lead. Ryan Domowski lit the lamp, 8:06 into the second. Ty Pelton-Bice with the assist. 47 seconds later, Dylan Fitz scored unassisted for his 3rd goal of the season. And you think about that seesaw back and forth. Utah never took a lead in this game. It was like Idaho would, score, and then the Grizzlies would score the next goal. Idaho would score, and then the Grizzlies would score next. So when Fitz scored 8:53 into the second, that tied it up at 3. Jordan Kawaguchi later in the second period scored 17-10 in. It was a power play goal Franklin and Register with the assist. But then 2 minutes later, Johnny Walker scored 17-22 in, with Andrew Nilsson getting the assist. It was really Nilsson taking a shot that got redirected by Walker and ended up in the back of the net. Walker had 2 goals tonight. It's his second 2-goal game of the season. And just like that, was tied at 4 after 2 periods. In the third frame, Idaho outshot Utah 14-3. It was a power play goal by Colton Keller. There was only 5 seconds left in the power play. He got in a situation where he was isolated on the left side, and then he was outside the circle, and really nobody was in front of him, so he just skated towards the circle, took a shot, and ended up going high on Trent Miner and finding the back of the net. And you talk about guys over the years that have just destroyed the Grizzlies with big goal after another and big hit. Colton Keller has been tough on the Grizzlies over the last year and a half, and he scored the game winner. His 9th goal of the season. The assist went to Owen Hedrick and Ryan Domowski, and Idaho went 2 for 6 on the power play. Utah was 0 for 1. And really, I think the 2 power play goals were really the difference in the game. And in particular, that Keller power play goal. And, there's not much it's kind of tough when you get a team like Idaho, who's as dangerous as they are on the power play. You give them chance after chance on the power play. But like I said, it's kind of one of those weird things where it looked like the Grizzlies, looked like the officiating was close, calling it close on the Grizzlies. But, the Steelheads, I wouldn't say they really had too many moments in the game where you looked at it and go, wait a minute, they should have gotten a penalty and didn't. That's just the way the discrepancy turned out tonight. 6 power plays for Idaho, only 1 for the Grizzlies. And you can chalk it up to any number of things, but, really that power play production and really the number of power plays they got ended up being a difference in the game, because the first 2 periods, outside of the shots, going heavily in Idaho's favor, it kind of felt like the pace of play going into the third period could have gone either way. But tonight just went Idaho's way as they get the victory. And how about the Steelheads start to the season? They are 14-2-0-1. They are now 8-1 at home. The only home loss was to the Grizzlies on October 28th. Grizzlies' road record falls to 5-4, and overall they are 8-9 on the season as they fall below the 500 mark. And I think for the Grizzlies, obviously tomorrow night, you got a chance to even up the series. Idaho has won 5 straight against Utah, and we'll see if that trend ends up, see if the trend can get reversed tomorrow evening, 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off for the final game of the 2-game set. And then the Grizzlies will be on the road next week, 3-game series in Jacksonville. Remember, the Grizzlies will be home December 17th and 18th for the 2-game set against Kansas City. We've been talking about the Teddy Bear Toss and the Ugly Sweater Night. That's going to be on Saturday, December 17th, the next home game for the Grizzlies, which is 15 days from now. We'll get with Kai Karenza here in a couple minutes. Final scores in the Mountain Division. Rapid City defeats Allen 6-5. The Red Hot Rapid City Rush are now 9-8 on the season. In overtime, Wichita defeats Kansas City 3-2. Also in overtime, Indy over Tulsa 5-4. And that's the Mountain Division scoreboard. Let's take a quick look at Jacksonville, who's the Grizzlies' opponent next week in a 3-game set. They lose to South Carolina 3-2. So Jacksonville's record falls to 8-9 on the season. They've got the same record as the Grizzlies. They will meet 3 times in a 4-day stretch next Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Looks like the Utes are going to win the Pac-12 as they're blowing out USC. That game with 1:17 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Utah 47, USC 24. And I'm pretty sure the Pac-12 is pretty happy that now they're not going to be represented in the college football playoff once again. I think Utah ended up costing their own conference a little bit of money, but I don't think Kyle Whittingham cares, as the Utes are going to get the victory and win the Pac-12 for the second straight year. Cam Rising with 3 touchdown passes and 310 yards. Jackson had 2 rushing touchdowns. Bernard also added a rushing score, as the Utes are going to win the Pac-12 and advance to 10-3 on the season. USC is going to fall to 11-2. Both of USC's losses will come against the University of Utah. And Guy, I think you're going to the University of Utah right now. Good to see your tuition money going to a good cause, going to the football program. And I don't know if you're going to go to the Rose Bowl or not, if that's where Utah indeed ends up. But hey, it looks like the Utes won the conference again.
I don't know, Tyson, but it's a good feeling to see the Utah Utes win. Of course, that is my school. And so I root for them. But, it's like you said, it's good to see my tuition money going to good use. I mean, they're going to take that money and put it towards the football team. You might as well win the Pac-12. So good feeling all around.
We could say that your tuition money went to the Clark Phillips NIL deal that, we see the commercial here on YouTube. That's probably where your tuition money ended up going.
Something like that. I'm just happy they won.
Hey, at least it's going to a good cause. Now, as for tonight's game, it was 4-4 going into the third period. It was anybody's game. I almost felt like that power play that Idaho scored on, and then them getting a power play late in regulation kind of turned out to be the difference in the game. And, it's just, you're looking at scoring chances. Idaho had 14 shots in the third period. The Grizzlies only had 3. Unfortunately, when it came time, especially once Idaho scored to make it 5-4, it's kind of buried the hatchet and didn't let Utah really get many good chances after that.
Yeah, Tyson, and you talked earlier about resiliency. The Grizzlies came out and played a really good game, and that was a little bit surprising to me because of just how depleted their roster is, with guys going up to the A, some injuries. The Grizzlies came out and they fought hard. They fought hard against a really good Idaho Steelhead team who looks like they're going to be the favorite to win the division here. So for the Grizzlies to come out and play this game the way they did and have it be close in the third period, it speaks volumes to to the character of this team and the way the team is built. But the other thing is the Grizzlies let up 50 shots tonight, and that can't happen. Like, you can't expect to win letting up 50 shots. So I think that's the glaringly obvious problem, is they need to find a way to shut down the Steelheads and limit their chances. But overall, there's some good takeaways and good things to like from this game despite the loss.
Good to see Johnny Walker score 2 goals. Dylan Fitz and Christian Simeone found the back of the net. Connor McDonald came back after missing 1 game. I thought he was going to be out for quite a while when I saw him get hit last Saturday, and he played pretty well. I think it's kind of tough when you think about all the players the Grizzlies have lost to the AHL, and really it sounds like an excuse, but when you're losing 6 forwards who are currently in the AHL that played 2 or more games with you, I mean, you're talking about 2 entire forward lines. So I think the Grizzlies really battled. Trent Miner, considering all the shots he took, I think did what he had, did what he could to keep the Grizzlies in the game. It just came down to, special teams and the Grizzlies only having 1 power play and Idaho having 6, including, a couple there in the third period. And even it's one of those, even if you don't score on the power play, it's that offensive zone time you get on the power play, where it can end up translating to something in the next couple minutes after that power play ended, even if you're not successful in it. So I think that's where, kind of puck possession and scoring chances and shots kind of went a little bit more towards Idaho's side with all the power plays they were able to get. Now let's get to the picks to click, as I think Johnny Walker is going to be the winner tonight. Did anybody have Johnny? I think you went with Dakota Raby.
I did go with Dakota Raby.
I went with Keaton Jamison. I think I might have said Johnny Walker on the air, but on Twitter I'd put Keaton Jamison because I'll tweet my pick to click and then forget who my pick to click was.
We got a Johnny Walker here.
We got a winner for Johnny Walker. William Thomas Yarborough. It's like William Yarborough goes with Johnny Walker as his pick to click. And if nobody else picked Johnny, then he's the winner.
That is going to be, I think that's the only one.
Based on the live chat, looks like William Yarborough is the picks to click winner as he went with Johnny Walker. We'll check social media quickly to see if anybody else picked Walker, but it looks like, William Yarborough is the winner tonight as Johnny Walker had 2 goals. And, you think about the hands out in front of the net. He was able to redirect that Nielsen shot. He's done that a few times this year. And I think when you think about, guys needing to step up, losing Zach Sekos and Cameron Wright this week, last week losing Brandon Cutler and Taryn Pfizer, seeing the guy like Johnny Walker, who scored a lot of goals in college, and to see him light the lamp twice tonight and, 7 goals in his last 11 games. I mean, that's the kind of guy that, you're going to need to kind of carry you through a situation like this where, you're missing those guys. And then, if at some point you get Pfizer and Sekos back, you see players like Walker and Simeone, they gain some confidence, having played a little bit of a bigger role and playing well in that bigger role. So I think overall that makes the team better, but just makes tomorrow's game a little bit interesting, knowing the Grizzlies are going to have to find a way to even up the score and end a 5-game losing streak against the Steelheads this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we've seen in Steelheads versus Grizzlies, anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
In the first 3 minutes of this game shows that anything can happen when the Grizzlies and the Steelheads meet up. But I think it's good that Johnny Walker's rolling. He's a guy that's, He's physical. He plays a physical game, but man, he's got a wicked shot. I love Johnny Walker, and I love what he brings to the table. I think, I like his physicality, but I think he's a lot better when he's scoring goals and using his shot. I feel like that's his best attribute. So to see him getting rolling and just kind of starting to heat up, along with Dakota Raby, who didn't show up on the stat sheet tonight, but he was chipping in, and I like that line that he was on tonight. So for those guys to start heating up, it bodes well for the Grizzlies in the future. And I think they got a good outing in them tomorrow against the Steelheads.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think with Trent Miner seeing so many shots, it wouldn't surprise me if Garrett Metcalf ends up getting the start. Now, I know everybody was thinking about Lucas Preek and him getting the injury. I did see Preek practice this week. I think I didn't see him in previous weeks getting out there on the practice ice. So Lucas Preek is recovering, and hopefully he'll be back in a few weeks for the Grizzlies. But obviously Utah's got three pretty good ones in Miner, Metcalf, and Lucas Preek. Well, Guy, we'll have to pack up this gear and then get back at it again tomorrow. I think we might need to take a picture to make sure that all the cords are plugged into the right spot. But it was a lot of fun here, high top section 114 tonight, and it was so much fun. I think we'll do it again tomorrow.
It was a fun game, Tyson. So tune in tomorrow for hopefully more of the same. Hopefully an exciting game.
No. We want a Grizzlies win tomorrow.
Well, I meant more of the same as far as gameplay. But yeah, an exciting game. And let's hope that next time, the Grizzlies are the ones that pull ahead.
It was a fun one tonight, with the only exception being obviously that Idaho won 5-4. Their record goes to 14-0-1. The Grizzlies fall to 8-9, which is the same record that the Jacksonville Icemen have. Utah will take on Jacksonville 3 times next week. Once again, in 2 hours and 25 minutes and in front of 5,171, a sellout crowd over at Idaho Central Arena. Colton Keller got the game winner, 11:31 into the third period. Jordan Kawaguchi had 2 goals. Ryan Domowski and Zane Franklin each had 1 goal and 1 assist. As for the 3 stars of the game, Jordan Kawaguchi was the number 1 star with the 2 goals. Johnny Walker was the number 2 star. He had 2 goals for Utah. Number 3 star, Zane Franklin, with 1 goal and 1 assist. For Guy Krenza, I'm Tyson Whiting. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast and not necessarily the final outcome. It is what it is. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, 6:50 pregame show, 7:10 face-off. This is the Grizzlies postgame report right here on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.